That was a complete 360 overview of the NGIS journey. What a wonderful set of achievements and a great path ahead. I would now like to invite Ravi Iswarapu, a CEO, A Hub, and President TiE Vizag up on stage. Ravi has 23 years of experience heading business, strategy, sales, operations, quality across the globe for large corporates and startups. Ravi's entrepreneurial journey began in 2012, and he's a serial entrepreneur and a top angel investor in Andhra Pradesh now. He was conferred with awards like NASSCOM Innovation Award, Best of the Best Chairman's Honor Award of General Motors USA, CIO Award, among many others. Ravi is now the CEO of Andhra University Incubation Hub and helps in establishing one of India's largest integrated incubation ecosystems. Mentoring and growth, looking at mentoring and growth of startups, turnaround of ailing companies, investing in early stage startups, and startup business strategy across various sectors. Over to Ravi Iswarapu, President TiE Vizag.
Thank you, Pasna. Chief guest of the event, Shri Uvesh Kumarji, IAS Additional Secretary, MIT, Shri Dashri Ramakrishna Garu, Managing Director of Electronics, Shri Subodh Sachinji, Director STPI Headquarters, Shri Ram Prasad ji, Director STPI Hyderabad, Shri Harish Chaudhary ji, Senior Associate Investments India Angel Network, and Shri Ratnakar Samvedam, who is the CEO for Hyderabad Angels. A very good morning to you all. Namaskar and all the best to the participants, and thank you for having me here. So now, representing TiE as an organization, would like to take you through what TiE is to understand the type of partnership that is happening today and taking this program forward. TiE is currently the world's largest not-for-profit entrepreneurial ecosystem. We have about 60 chapters in 12 countries, about 12,000 members, talking about 3,500 charter members who are invited by, and they are by invite. TiE is an organization started just like STPI, quite old, 31 years old, 1992. And if you look at the impact that TiE has created through its own interventions, has crossed a whopping $1 trillion USD till date. Mission of TiE is simple. The mission is to foster entrepreneurship, and through its 5 pillars that it is very focuses on, which is mentoring, network and education, funding and incubation. So the focus area is again is to generate the next generation of entrepreneurs. This is basically a virtuous cycle of creating entrepreneurs who will further be successful, who further have that cycle of becoming successful, again investing into entrepreneurship, and then for mentoring and fostering entrepreneurship further. So it's carrying on generations after generations. So TiE basically connects the entire ecosystem from early stage entrepreneurs to want to be entrepreneurs, young women entrepreneurs to serial entrepreneurs to professionals, intrapreneurs in corporates, venture capitalists, angel investors, thought leaders, and many more. So we have many programs that TiE runs, which with the universities, the TiE University program. Then for youngsters who are in school and college or about to get into their college, this is the TiE Young Entrepreneurs program, a program which is very specific to women, TiE Women, which is again one of the largest women entrepreneurship program across the world. Then, of course, the investors come in through the TiE Angels program. So TiE has this flagship program called the TGS, TiE Global Summit, which has happened last month, concluded in Singapore, along with the Singapore FinTech Fest. About 12,000 people attended the same. So the next one, I think people should look up for that, which is the TiE Global Summit, is going to happen in India, in Bangalore, the 2024, which is coming up. Probably it's, again, I know, a year from now. But people in your regions could attend to these large events called TICONs. TICON, every of these 25 odd chapters in India conduct this thing called TICON. In fact, our sister partner Thai chapter on the call, which is doing a fabulous job of handling the sessions. Thai Delhi has you'll have the who is who of the entrepreneurial ecosystem out there for the Thai Delhi Con. Now when it comes to Thai Vizag, I think we are planning to have one in Feb. We're just planning through that, and that TaiCon Vizag should probably come up pretty soon. So now coming to Leap Ahead, great program. Basically, something that is being focused on early growth stage. People may be looking for product diversification, trying to get into new markets, especially for the tech startups. A great program, most required. A lot of people in this region looking forward such a program. So associating with a program of that nature, especially with the entity of repute, which is STPI, through Mighty, is of a great pride to us. It makes us proud. Thanks to again Thai Delhi for making this happen. While the kickoff part of it is going to happen today, I would like to submit that Thai Vizag could be the regional partner for ensuring that once we have these startups under the program, the Leap Ahead program, we can continue to engage with them, mentor them, take them forward, give them that market access, connect them to the world, and then ensure that they're successful. So thank you for giving this opportunity, a wonderful event, and a sort of a system called the Leap Ahead. I would really push these startups to really be part of it. Thank you for your time and all the best. Jai Hind.
Thank you very much, Ravi. That was wonderful. Thank you for all the support. And I'm sure the startups here will be very, very happy and looking forward to more support from Thai Vizag as well. To meet the growing demand of startups seeking additional funding opportunities, STPI, in collaboration with Thai Delhi NCR, a global not-for-profit organization dedicated to fostering entrepreneurship along with a prestigious group of investors, is launching Leap Ahead. This is a pan-India initiative to propel tech startups. It is an unprecedented opportunity for startups to accelerate their growth. We are honored and gratified that some of the best funds across the country are collaborating as partners for this program in order to scout and fund some of the most path-breaking startups that we are scouting for and seeking from across the country. We have our investor partner, Harsh Chaudhary, who's a senior associate investments at Indian Angel Network. I would like to invite Harsh upon the stage. Harsh oversees sectors like fintech, health tech, retail tech, HR tech, among others. Harsh is passionate about startups and is always interested in discussing new ideas. Harsh, please take it away. Do we have Harsh online? Okay. I guess we can have Harsh later. I'll be happy to invite our other investor partner, that is Hyderabad Angels. And we have with us Ratnakar Samavedam. Ratnakar is a chartered accountant and has a total of 18 plus years of experience in the space of corporate finance, fundraising, risk assessment, audit, and taxation. He is the investment director, portfolio manager at Hyderabad Angels. He's done more than 35 investments with 4 exits. So here is a person with a range of experience and a depth of knowledge. He's also active in fundraising activities for startups at Hyderabad Angel. He works very closely with the portfolio companies in terms of both compliance and building processes to achieve scale. Ratnakar, please take it away.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Well, thank you, Upasana, and thank you, I think Subodh sir, CV Sharma sir, and some of the chief guests who are there today. Thank you for calling me and gracing me for this event. Thank you a lot. I think coming back, very interesting startup ecosystem, how it has been moved in last decade per se. Most of the startups have come from, though they say they came from tier one cities like Bangalore, Bombay, Delhi, Hyderabad, Chennai. But what we observed is many of these startup founders are coming from small town villages with a lot of aspiration to grow the organization from zero to a unicorn today. Many of the unicorns have been born, if you look into the scenario. And the belief is that this diamond, they are calling it, the diamonds are going to come in startup ecosystem from tier two, tier three, and villages where the aspirations are very good in terms of growing the startup ecosystem. And second thing, I think as STPI and rest of other people are there in the ecosystem, they are nurturing. And this is a great opportunity for many of the potential aspirant startup founders to come and take their experience and expertise before coming to us for funding. Because most of your first generation entrepreneurs, most of them doesn't have an experience of entrepreneurship journey, and it is the most difficult journey. I think people should agree it is not an easy journey. For example, if you're looking for D2C brand, which people are speaking in e-commerce today, it needs a lot more working capital. It needs a lot more distribution network. It needs a lot more technology in reaching out to customer. It is not easy. Otherwise, we are working in Hyderabad with some of the gaming and computer vision companies. There we see they need a lot of expertise in building UI UX and connecting to the distribution channel under which their games can be downloaded. I'm telling you, the startup founders who are part of this particular cohort who are joined today, this is the most difficult journey for you to achieve the scale and reach that number. And definitely, you need hand holding. You need hand holding. Please do agree that, like today, whatever the program has been started with the Thai Delhi Leap Effect, it is an important event, and I request all the aspirant startup founders to come and take the opportunity, apply for this particular programs, join them because they are putting a lot of efforts in bringing people who has a relevant experience in the industry. They're also bringing investors like us who can come and spend time, understand, help and guide them, and also take it to next level. Coming back to this, other than that, what we are seeing is from the funding point of view, because one of the key area which we work is angels and angel networks are investing in startups. Guys, please be confident. Angels and angel networks are keep investing in startups. But what really changed around 10 years back, even around 6 years back, we were investing in idea stage. Now, since government and many of the corporates, including STPI and a lot of them, came forward to handhold them and help them to reach certain level. So we are entering only at the level at which the product has been envisaged, patent has been filed if there is an opportunity, and the team has been set. They have got the relevant exposure and experience. And if they are making some money at that juncture, most of the angels are coming. Don't hear about funding winter. The funding winter is there for large organizations which wanted to raise Series B and above. But anything below Series A, the funds are too high available in the market. Number of deals are growing. Even large VCs like Peak XV, which is previously Sequoia, Lightspeed, you name the top 100 VCs in India, they're all coming down and investing between 0.5 million to $3 million in these companies. But you need to prove that you are there. You are there, and that is where the help is going to come to you in all the formats for you. So I say there is no funding winter. The stage at which you guys are coming up to Series A, funds are available, investors are showing interest, startup has been matured to a larger extent. There is required help is available. This is a wonderful, beautiful opportunity to take this positive ecosystem to grow to next level. And as said, across the world, they're seeing across the world, they are seeing that India is going to be second largest startup ecosystem sooner by 2030. It is only possible with you participating, and we all are working towards the common objective and goal. I look forward for more when I have a panel discussion post this event sometime, and we can discuss on funding environment, what really happening, what aspects are forward. Once again, I say this is a great opportunity. Look forward to meet you all. We miss you. We all should have been in Vijayawada. Maybe the nature has taken a different course, but happy to meet you virtually. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, Mr. Samavedam. Angel investors are the key pillar in acceleration of early stage startups. And we are very happy and proud to have our investor partners for this Leap Ahead program. I would now like to invite Harsh Chaudhary. Harsh is the Senior Associate Investments at Indian Angel Network. Over to you, Harsh.
Hi, everyone. Really sorry for the slight delay. I think I've had a good share of connectivity issues today. Unable to join from my video, but here I am. Good morning to everyone. My name is Harsh, and I'm from the investment team at Indian Angel Network. As you might know, Indian Angel Network has been one of the pioneers of angel investing in India. Looking forward to interact with folks at this event and talk to a lot of good startups today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Harsh. Wonderful to have you with us. I would now take this opportunity to invite upon stage Sri Subodh Sachan, Chief Innovation Officer, STPI Next, and Director, STPI Headquarter. Subodhji is heading the Pan-India Startup Initiative of STPI, including establishment of domain-specific centers of excellence in emerging technologies like IoT, AI, blockchain, AR, and VR. An IIT Roorkee and IIM Bangalore alumnus. He's a senior professional from the industry who joined STPI as director after having worked in the industry at global level in various capacities. He's worked in diversified areas of technology industry, a major portion of which has been in telecom and related field. In particular, he's been a part of startups in leadership role, right from inception to successful listing of the companies. On the other side of industry spectrum, he's been a part of senior management at MNCs and global telecom behemoths like Motorola and Nokia. He's been successful. He successfully headed the Bangalore chapter of IIM Ahmedabad's Center for Innovation Incubation and Entrepreneurship, CIE. Over to Sri Subodh Sachan.
Thank you, Upasana ji. The respected chief guest today, Additional Secretary, Ministry of Electronics and IT, Government of India, Shri Bhuvnesh Kumar ji. Guest of honor, Special Secretary who will join later, Dr. Sundar Balakrishna, Special Secretary to Government of IT and Electronics and Communication, Government of Andhra Pradesh. Chief Mentor of NGIS, Vijayawada, Managing Director and CEO, Electronics Systems Private Limited, Shri Dasari Ramkrishna Garu. Director, STPI Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, Shri C.V. Ramprasad Garu. The Thai President, Thai Vizag President and CEO of AHUB, Shri Ravi Shrupi Garu, and our investor partners, including all the Thai Delhi team, Thai NCR, Delhi NCR team, Thai Vizag, Visakhapatnam team, fellow startup founders, people from the media. Friends, I think due to the activities of the nature, we could not have the physical meeting and we had to switch it to the online mode last minute. But let me thank all the esteemed speakers, investor partners, the guests, everyone, to make it and make the switch possible to the online mode in a seamless way. So really thank to the team who was behind this. I'm sure the event is going to bring in today's event, which is the Leap Ahead Startup Summit at Vijayawada, happening virtually though. It's the third such summit which is happening, and I think this summit is going to ensure that there is a great insight and which comes from the speakers which are lined up today. And these speakers, I'm sure, will actually be inspiring each one of you to leap ahead in your entrepreneurial journey, which is the main idea behind what we want to achieve through Leap Ahead initiative. I think startup ecosystem within our country, this is the most vibrant time when it comes to the whole entrepreneurial progress in the country, if you really see so. The Indian startup ecosystem has witnessed a remarkable growth. We are third largest, and we are going to be, as I think previous speaker mentioned, We look forward to being the second largest very soon. But with the 114,000 startups registered, known registered startups since the launch of Start India program, today the startup revolution is witnessed across the length and breadth of the country. And I think today there is no state, there's no union territory, and in fact, almost 80% of districts have a startup ecosystem, and startups have been active in those, each and every district. Within STPI's initiative alone, with our 60 plus centers, 63 centers, with our 22 centers of entrepreneurship, with our NGIS, which is active on 12 different locations. Today, the STPI is touching upon all the startups coming from various states, coming from, in fact, all the states, all the tech startups are being touched upon by the STPI. With the NGIS scheme alone, which is a flagship scheme of Ministry of Electronics and IT, we have been able to fund almost 22 plus startups, 104 startups as of date. And these startups are coming from 22 plus states. So this tells us the vibrancy of the startup ecosystem as we stand today. While the startups are vibrant, while the startups are known for being the job creator, I think one of the statistics tells that today within the registered startups alone, more than 12 lakhs jobs have been created. And I'm happy to share within the STPI ecosystem of 800 plus startups, which we are supporting as we speak today, there are more than 10,000 direct jobs, and all these technical jobs have been created. And this is why the startup ecosystem is seen as the next vehicle for the whole economical growth and the growth of the technology ecosystem and growth of innovation within our country. Government of India, and especially my Ministry of Electronics and IT, has been able to take various efforts towards the development of the startup ecosystem. Just to name very few, within the investment and within the enabling the capital space, right? Because investment is the key for the progress of the startups, and investment is seen as the driving force for the startup ecosystem. Whether we talk about the fund of funds scheme, which was launched by Government of India, the Startup Seed India Fund scheme, which has been active by Department of Commerce, or the credit guarantee scheme, which has been announced recently, along with this, with the ministry scheme of NGIS, or the Samrid scheme, or soon to be launched the Genesis scheme. I think the focus is to bring the early capital, early capital, which will help the startups across, especially in the very early stage, to really graduate to the next stage, so that the real investors and the investment money can flow into each one of you, right? In the leap ahead, our focus is, while NGIS was focused for the first level of early stage funding, the leap ahead is focused today for giving the bridging the gap between the next capital which is available from the community of investors. So in leap ahead is very, very tightly focused for scaling up the startup which are in the scale up stage right now, and they're looking for capital. Up to 1 crore of capital with our esteemed investor partners, we are going to invest into each one of you. We are looking forward for ensuring that the first Leap Ahead initiative is a highly successful initiative. The 75 plus cohort which we have targeted, I'm also happy to share that today, as we stand, we have got a humongous amount of applications already, and we're looking forward to hearing some of the best minds today during the pitch sessions as we move forward towards the day. It's also known a challenge. The Indian ecosystem, startup ecosystem, has been attracting good amount of capital in last 2 years or 3, almost. But this year, I think there is some kind of funding winter. That's when these initiatives will actually help the startups, because the time is an essence for each one of you who's working on solving real problems, right? So today, while startups are seen a vehicle for the job creation, they're also seen as frugal vehicles for innovation. I think the innovation has to be the key for each one of you. When we look forward, we look through our centers of entrepreneurship. We have seen the innovations coming across the healthcare space, the innovation coming across the fintech space, innovation coming across the agri-tech space. And that's innovation, I think, has to be real key for each one of you who's looking forward to scale, because as it was earlier mentioned by Ratnakar Garu, the scaling up is a challenge, but scaling up is also an opportunity. And if you are really solving a right problem, I think the problem which is solved by the real problem solved by the rightful solution, I think scaling up, and there is a market for that. And if you are looking for, you're focused on your scaling up, you're focused on your unit economies, I think this program is the apt program for all of you. The Leap Ahead is also an initiative where we have not just thought from scaling up from the investor capital perspective, but we've also brought in the rightful partners. While STPI is the largest tech incubator today in India, but we all know TIE, and we all know the contribution of TIE in the last so many years. And I'm happy to really say that TIE Delhi NCR, amongst which, when we started speaking about the initiatives like this, TIE Delhi NCR came forward and really supported this initiative. So we are together with TIE Delhi NCR and the local chapters of TIE, we are able to bring the whole network of TIE, and and the TIE which is known for wealth creation, TIE which is known for mobilizing intellectual capital. I think that's the value which you'll get in the leap ahead. The 3 months dedicated mentoring program, which CVD Ramprasad sir talked about earlier, is focused in a very focused program, focused towards intervening by virtue of the rightful intellect which is available with the TIE mentor ecosystem and STPI's mentor ecosystem, to intervene in your journey of scaling up, right? So if you are a startup who has got some traction already in the market, if you believe that you're solving a real problem, and if you believe that there's a problem has a rightful solution, and you're looking for just to unlock values for scaling up, this is the rightful program. So TIE's mentorship is actually going to bring in the accelerated growth which is targeted here. We have also been bringing in TIE Silicon Valley chapter, because we strongly believe that the startups have to start looking into not just solving a local problem, but also looking into how we can be creating solutions which have a global appeal. And hence TIE Silicon Valley, which is very, very active, a chapter in Silicon Valley, will bring in the global connect at rightful time for within this program, within the cohort of the selected startups. Thus, I'm sure the kind of the vibrancy, kind of the enthusiasm I'm seeing right now, this program will be game changer in your journey. And this should be a game changer to ensure that each one of you who is part of this first cohort actually leaps ahead and becomes the brand ambassadors when we bring in the next edition, in year 2024. I think the spirit of giving of TIE is the heart of this initiative. Let me actually thank again TIE from that perspective. What we strongly believe, while as an entrepreneurship is a journey, and each one of the entrepreneur start looking into from a perspective of entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is not about conquering the world; it's about creating a world that others would like to conquer with you. So staying hungry and staying foolish, and let's journey be defined by the problems you solve has to be the motto. And if that's the motto, then this program is rightfully meant for you, right? So thank you once again, and I again invite each one of you who's sitting in the audience today. Happy to see that almost 150 plus participants are there. Today, I'm as earlier said, we would have loved to meet each one of you physically. But unfortunately, we are not meeting physically, but the physical meeting is due on us and due on the TIE chapters locally. And we will soon be in Vizag to meet, each one of you, Vijayawada, to meet each one of you. So thank you. Look forward for a wonderful interaction towards the day.
Thank you very much, Subodhji, once again for your inspiring and encouraging words towards this program. I think here is a person who's been key to this program and putting it all together. Once again, we would like to thank all our investor partners who have come forward to sign MOUs for the Leap Ahead program. We are delighted to share that we have a large number of early stage investors who have signed tripartite MOUs in order to accelerate the journey of this Leap Ahead cohort that is in the making. I wish to invite one of our investor partners who's here today to join us online for exchange of MOU. I would like to invite upon stage Shri Srinivas Savaram, Director, Alcove Business Advisory, to join us upon the stage, please.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Good morning, Srinivas. I would like to invite Shri Subodh Sachan, Director, STPI Headquarters, to join us.
Yes, I'm there.
And I would like to invite Geetika Dayal, Executive Director, TIE Delhi NCR, to please join us upon the stage. As mentioned, we would have liked to be physically present for this exchange of MOU, but I think this is as good as we can get. Thank you very much, Mr. Srinivas.
My pleasure.
This now brings us to the second MOU that we are...
Maybe we show the MOU like this so that we have exchange. Geetika's video is still not working, looks like. But thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you,
Subodhi.
Srinivas.
Thank you, Upasana.
Thank you. We would now like to invite our second investor partner. Pranav Vishwesh is here from Anicut Capital. Pranav, like to invite you on stage, please.
Hi, good morning, everybody.
And yes, let's try and do this in a physical format to show the tripartite MOU that is going to help accelerate the leap ahead cohort of startups. Thank you. Thanks, Pranav.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Thank you. I would now like to invite upon stage Sri Dasari Ramakrishna, Managing Director, Efronics System Private Limited, and Chief Mentor of NGIS Vijayawada to address the audience. Sri Ramakrishna is the founding CEO of Efronics Systems Private Limited, established in 1985, and has 35 plus years of experience in railway signaling sector. He's the architect of India's largest IoT network built for Indian Railways and more than 6 million things connected across 9,000 locations. It reduced the accidents and improved punctuality. He's a continuous learner and thought leader. Under his leadership, Efronics has innovated more than 50 solutions for different domains. By continually growing Efronics, Mr. Ramakrishna has provided to the Indian industry with the right aspirations and sincere effort to deliver value to customers. It is possible to be successful, and location does not matter. Over to Ramakrishna Dasariji.
Good morning to all of you. Thank you for inviting me, Mr. Upasana. Basic thing today. Last week I was there in a Gartner summit. All of us is knowing now the ChatGPT is making a wonders in a multi-dimensional. I started using the ChatGPT from last 6 months. Previously, if I see my productivity and all compared to my productivity today, almost my productivity is increased by almost 2 to 3 times. Previously, if I have to learn something unknown, I have to put at least 2 people to dig the information and learn all that. But now that doesn't need only 1 hour of my effort is able to make the things understand, and next day I will be able to ask our people to implement that. So this is where not only me in a Gartner summit, people are telling this is going to be the big game changer, which is going to make a lot of difference. The generative AI, which is introduced maybe last 1 year, is able to reach. The people says this is a more than internet, more than smartphones, and more than social media. All that they took long time, but this generative AI took a very, very short period to enter into that. So what is that is going to impact on the business, and what is that impacting on the organizations? This is going to be real game changer in my opinion, because it's not just improving the productivity. Now the 2 dimensions when we are talking about an industry, one is that where I am going to talk to the external, that is a customer, the internal, that is inside the organization, how I am going to improve my productivity or the quality, cost, and all that. So again, one dimension is, are you able to improve everyday activity, that is a productivity, or otherwise are you coming with a new dimension of products like a game-changing products? This is going to be clearly the new dimensional ecosystem is going to come in the future, or coming in the present and the future. This is where I think all the startups or the organizations has to look into that. What is going to be the success of the past may not be the future success. This has to be, all of us has to be vigilant and see what is happening. And even when I am seeing in a LinkedIn, almost regularly Gartner is presenting various dimensions, and not only that, various big companies in international companies are giving a lot of insights about how the businesses are changing, how the technologies are changing, what are the opportunities, what are the new method of doing the business. All that is changing, but common thing everybody is talking is how to create a value to the customer. Unless you are not going to create a value, the customer may not be able to with us. That means the business may not be successful. So all of us has to look into the value dimension. In that, maybe 4 or 5 dimensions has to be seen. One is where the value is there. We have to identify that by looking into the end-to-end digitization with a consumption chain or the process chain or the business process. All these dimensions, see how you can digitize and how you optimize entire thing. Or sometimes we may skip some steps also, which is there in the past. So this is all going to change. That is where identifying where the value is there, which are the opportunities are there, is the first dimension. So once you have that value identified, how you create that, the second dimension. Once you create it, it's not end of the creation, I made beautiful software, beautiful system, but the most important is how you deliver, make the customer to use it, thereby he will get benefited out of it. Then the next step is, as Mr. Subodhji is talking about, scaling up the things is a third dimension, and continuously refining is also most important. All that most important dimension which I am seeing is a truth is coming out. Previously, a lot of hidden dimensions are there, but today there is a lot of truthful information is coming, because this data which we are getting and correlated with the AI and descriptive analytics is correlating entire data, and the real truth is coming out. So if the real truth is coming out, naturally the end of the day, the most important is the creating the trust to the people. Trust is now going to be the buzzword or the dimension at which all of us has to look into it. Without trust, now the future business may not be there. That's where new dimensions are coming. Other side of the coin is maybe last quarter, 7.1 billion ARM processors were deployed across the world in one quarter. Already 272.5 billion ARM processors were deployed across the world from maybe last 10, 15 years. So this is one of the major ecosystem where this all ARM processors are a sub-dollar processors. These are going to be multiple, is going to be deployed in various systems, not in a consumer items or even the control items and all that. So it's not just using a Raspberry Pi or some of the boards you build it. We have to build the solutions from the grassroots level with the things so that we'll be competitive and we'll be able to make the things more effective. Other dimension is a more of fail-safe systems is one of the opportunity which I feel not only in a now recently we saw a success of Chandrayaan and all that. So in that, the type of fail-safe systems built, similarly the same thing will be there in a defense or in a aeroplanes or the rail systems, or now the cars is going to be autonomous cars, and the process automation and medical systems. Like that, many systems, now system has to be now built foolproof with a high quality, high reliability, which will not fail. Even if it is failing also, it should be failed with safety. These type of opportunities are going to be much more, where we have to open our thought process, not just confined to the e-commerce or that is a entertainment or e-learning. That's already saturated in my opinion. That have again new dimensions is coming. Previously, when we want to study or learn something, we use it to follow certain way of doing it. But with the change in ChatGPT or this type of new dimensions, the total learning process is real fundamentals is coming out from the ChatGPT, which makes us to understand really in depth and what is the state of technology today and where the future is going to be and what are the already mature technologies available. Many times that is a hidden, which many of us doesn't know that. The already mature technologies where we can use that and build around that. These are all various opportunities going to come. So my sincere advice is all of us has to open our mind and follow up with what are the new trends is coming, new technologies is coming, how to use that in a more effectively. Then only the end of the day, the decisions are going to be. AI is a buzzword. There is no doubt about it. But end of the day, with the help of AI, what I am going to take it? We have a huge amount of data. With that, the human interventions, are we able to use some descriptive analytics or AI or machine learning and take the decisions, and the decision has to be put into the action. So this is a analytic spectrum which we have to put it in every activity so that we'll be able to build the solutions more effectively, which is going to be sustained. End of the day, we need to have a sustainable models, not just hype models, which will be there for a shorter period. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to share my thoughts. Thank you.
Many thanks, Ramakrishna Dasari ji. Every time we hear experienced and entrepreneurs who have spent years in building ventures, we realize the value of mentoring. And this is something that both at TIE as well as at STPI, we really understand and appreciate the importance of, and we know that mentoring is something that is key to venture creation, especially early stage tech startups, where founders are too busy building their product and they may need serious advisors who could help them, guide them. And which is why the Leap Ahead program that is brought to you by STPI is not a cosmetic or a surface sort of a initiative. It is really in depth. There is going to be in-depth mentoring over the 3-month program. We have been fortunate enough to have a large number of investors who have signed up to be embedded in the program from the beginning itself. The purpose of this embedding of entrepreneurs is to be able to give them access to these founders who are going to be a part of this program, in order to be able to, right from the scouting period till the sort of end of the mentoring program, to help them to be able to understand their businesses, to be able to understand founders, and then take them to the right conclusion of getting them funded. The program, as Subhoji had mentioned, was launched on 6th of November in Delhi, where STPI, including the secretary, met with investors across ecosystem. We had about 40 investors across stages who were present at the meeting, where the minister and the other dignitaries spent time to understand what the ecosystem is looking like and what are the needs that founders are looking for, and wanted to plug the gap. On 6th of November, it was launched with great response. We already have 400 plus applications that have been received, and we will be able to scout the best startups who are going to be a part of this program. With the number of investors who have signed up, I'm sure the kind of embedding will help these founders raise funding to the at the end of the program, and that's the idea. At TIE, we are curating a complete program which is going to bring in knowledge, which is going to bring in mentoring, and then create founders that really, when they start 3 months from end to end, they will be in a far, far better position to really launch themselves to scale. I would now, I would now like to show you a video that is going to help you understand more about the Leap Ahead program. Thank you very much. That's the Leap Ahead program. And I must say that none of this would be possible or would have been possible to even reach this state without the active and continued support of the Ministry of Electronics and IT. We have with us Sri Bhuvanesh Kumar, IAS, Additional Secretary, Ministry of Electronics and IT today. I would now like to request Sri Bhuvanesh Kumarji to kindly address the audience and encourage us.
Thank you, Upasana ji, Shri Dashari Ramakrishnan ji, Shri Ravi Iswarapu ji, Shri Harsh Chaudhary ji, Shri Ratnakar Samvedam ji, Subho Sachan ji, Ram Prasad ji, representatives from TAI Delhi NCR, from TAI Silicon Valley, from Vadhwani Foundation, and from Pontech and other investor partners, all the startups who have joined this program, and ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to all of you. And I'm very happy to be part of this event today, though I'm slightly disappointed. I was expecting this event to be in the physical mode, in-person mode at Vijayawada, for which I think all of you had planned to travel. And it would have been much better to interact with you in person. But due to Mechong, we have been forced to do this event online. And it's slightly limiting, but nonetheless, since the event was planned, we thought we'll go ahead with this. Subodhji was very keen. So once again, a very good morning and welcome to all the participants. And thanks to Subodhji and STPI team for inviting me for this event. I have been associated with STPI and the startup ecosystem of Ministry of Electronics and IT, though it's not part of my present work profile, but that association has been such that STPI keeps calling me back for such events. And I am also very happy to be participating in on such occasions. As far as the ministry is concerned, apart from the startup ecosystem which has been set up by DPIIT in the Government of India, Ministry of Electronics and IT has taken various steps to promote the startups, especially the tech startups, but it is not limited to tech startups. And multiple programs have been launched, one after the other. In fact, the original program which was launched by METI used to be TIDE, the Technology Incubation and Development of Entrepreneurship. So when the first version was over, TIDE 2.0 was launched. And this is basically a funding program, and it's basically based on grants to the startups funded through the incubators in the educational institutions. So there are about 51 educational institutions which are attached to this program, and they are in different categories, group A, B, and C. The ones which are bigger centers fall in the group A category, and the centers which fall in tier 2 and tier 3 cities are group 2 or group 3, they fall alike. So very large number of startups have been funded through TIDE 2.0. I don't know, some of you may be beneficiaries of that program. Then after that, the scheme NGIS was launched. The ministry has now basically focused the fact that the new round of startups will come out from tier 2 and tier 3 cities. Of course, there's no dearth in tier 1 cities, but it is presumed that tier 1 startups get taken care of because there are large opportunities for them in those centers. But for the startups which come out from tier 2 and tier 3 cities, they have certain limitations. They do not have good incubation centers. There are not enough investors. There are not enough mentors. And that is why if we have to really grow our startup ecosystem in the country and multiply it and take it to number 1, and we have to produce more and more unicorns, then we must look at the tier 2 and tier 3 cities. And that is how this new generation incubation scheme was launched. And it was focused on 12 cities. And these were the cities identified by NASSCOM at that time as the promising cities of that time, when this scheme was launched in 2019. And actually, scheme was made in 19, but launched in 2020. After that, for the product ecosystem, the ministry launched another scheme called Samridh, and this is for software products especially. And the idea is that the startups will be funded via the accelerators, and ministry will be funding in a piggybacking mode. The accelerators will select the startups, they will arrange funding, and ministry will match the funding 1:1. And that will be up to 40 lakh rupees from the ministry side. Then a larger program, which is about 500 crores, has been approved, which is called Genesis, the Gen Next for the startups next. And this is going to be launched by Mighty Startup Hub. I hope many of you may be aware of the Mighty Startup Hub, which has been set up in the ministry. And this is taking care of many of the startups activities apart from the division, the Startup Innovation and IPR division, which deals with it. And the idea is that, again, Genesis will be in a similar mode to the mode which is adopted for the Samridh scheme. Apart from that, the ministry engages with the large corporates, and many such programs have been curated with their support. In fact, most of the financial support coming from the corporates. To name a few, I can say Google App Skill Academy. Many of you may be aware of that. 2 years have already passed. They are in the third year of that. And similarly, we have a Meta XR program. Then we have partnership with STFC and so many other corporates. I think they're in double digits now, and many more are coming forward to support the startups in their own areas of interest, depending on the technology, whether it is in blockchain or other things. Ministry has been setting up a lot of centers of entrepreneurship, and STPI is the leader in that sense. STPI has 22 centers of entrepreneurships in various technology domains. I mean, whether they are on blockchain, they are on automotives, maybe on gaming, on AVGC, AR, VR, XR, and so many different areas. The COEs have been set up, and they are spread across the country. In fact, we have 8 centers of entrepreneurship set up by Mighty through STPI in the northeastern region, and then we call them Octa Northeast. So it becomes Octane, Octa NE. So 8 centers of entrepreneurship set up there to attract the startups from those areas. And we have centers in Mohali. I think we have centers in Pune, Hyderabad, in Bangalore, almost spread across the country. We also have set up a center of entrepreneurship in partnership with NASCOM also. So one at Bangalore in IoT. The other centers of entrepreneurships have been set up by METI organizations under the respective divisions. I'm sure if you are aware, the Center for Materials in Electronic Technologies, CMET, is one of METI organizations, and it's a R&D organizations funded by METI grants. They have set up centers in electronic waste technology, electronic waste management and technology development in that area. Similarly, CDAC is our research arm in the IT sector, and there are multiple number of COEs in various technologies, and a lot of R&D is happening there, and startups are involved in the process in almost all of them, whether we talk about the National Mission on Power Electronics at Trivandrum, or we talk about the agrionics related to agriculture technologies at Kolkata, CDAC Kolkata. The startups have been involved in the process, and even the large industries are involved. So it is like METI, the CDAC team, the startups, and the industry working together, and then the final technology which is developed is normally transferred to the industry on a non-exclusive basis. So this is something what I would say as the ecosystem of startup development sponsored by MIT. Apart from that, we also provide support for patents at 50% of the cost. There's a scheme called SIPEIT, CPIT, which is support for international patent protection in electronics and information technology. So that is also available. Apart from that, now we are setting up a platform through which there will be a consolidated information of all the mighty assets, whether it is STPI, or it is ERNet, or whether it is CDAC or MSH, or even other incubation centers in the academic institutions. So they'll be all put in one platform, and I think startups will be able to see that and also book that depending on their requirements. This is something which is in the offing. So I'm very happy to announce that Ministry of Electronics and IIT is a leader in the sense of supporting startups through various programs other than the DPIIT. And of course, DBT, BIRAC, and those are some of the organizations in the Government of India doing a lot of good work. Even some of the state governments have taken a lead. But I'm sure the final say goes to the organizations like TIE, the Angels Investors Networks, the venture capitalists, because the government support, in my opinion, can actually come at pre-A series or much below that. And in fact, when it was being mentioned that winter is for the large funds, I totally agree. And as far as the startups, the initial state startups are concerned, there is no dearth of funds. The only thing is that idea has to be good. If the product is good, if the solution is good, and there is a go-to-market strategy, I don't see for the initial stage startups there is any shortage of fund, or if there is any winter, there's none. So I will basically expect more startups to come, have new ideas. Don't be discouraged by any of the views or market reports that there is any kind of funding winter. There's nothing like that. That may be for the higher side, not at the lower end of the spectrum. So ministry will continue to provide whatever support is there, and I think STPI as the ministry's arm is already doing very well with a huge network of mentors. I think even in NGIS itself, you have a larger number. There are more than 400 startups which have been supported. There are about 200 mentors in NGIS, but if you look at the overall network of STPI, the number of mentors will be much large. Incubators is very large, and there are supports available through other divisions also. So there is a whole lot of ecosystem which is there to start do help the startups. On this occasion, I would definitely like to thank TIE for taking a lead, and Contact, which has been a partner in NGIS, and there are other investor partners. There's a long list. I may not be able to mention all of them. I think credit goes to STPI for bringing in so many investor partners for this scheme, which has really led to funding of very large number of startups. That's a very credible step, very appreciable. I really appreciate that, and congratulations to STPI. And of course, once again, thanks to all of you for joining this event, making it a success. And I wish all the best to all the startups who are joining here, and those who are already part of the STPI network and the Mighty network. Best wishes, congratulations, thank you, Jai Hind.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. With a profound sense of gratitude on behalf of TIE Delhi NCR and STPI, I extend my heartfelt thanks to you for gracing us with your presence and for sharing your valuable insights. Ladies and gentlemen, we are honored to have witnessed inspiring words from the Secretary, and this will go a long way in supporting the program. His vision and the leadership serve as a guiding force for all of us gathered here today. I would also like to thank Sri Dasari Ramakrishna, Managing Director, Electronics and Chief Mentor at NGIS Vijayawada, for his support in making this event a success. I would like to thank all the other dignitaries and guests who have taken time to join us today. Your presence has added immense value to this event, and your perspectives are absolutely invaluable. I take this opportunity to thank all our investor partners today, Indian Angel Network and Hyderabad Angels in particular, knowledge partners, our enablement partners, without whose support this program would not be possible. Your collaboration has been instrumental, and we'll be truly grateful for your partnership. I would like to thank some of our sponsors here as well. A very special thanks to TIE Vizag for their support. Sri Ravi Isarapu, President TIE Vizag, to the organizing team, volunteers, everyone who's worked tirelessly behind the scenes. Thank you very much for your dedication and for all your support. Your efforts have culminated in a seamless and impactful event today. Thank you. Lastly, also like to thank the participants and the attendees who joined. Your active engagement and enthusiasm has made this event truly memorable, and we've got some more panels that are lined up ahead. In closing, let us just carry the spirit of today's event forward, inspired by the insights shared by and the connections made by people today. Together, let us continue to strive for the betterment of the startup ecosystem and work towards a brighter and a more inclusive future. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And thank you, sir. Thank you. And sir, we will have a physical meeting in Vijayawada. Definitely.
Sure. Yeah, surely, sir. Very shortly we'll have it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. This begins us to the next part of this program, where we are bringing in and putting together some panel discussions for knowledge imparting to the startups that are present here. Our first panel is on empowering startups access to funding and resources. This session discusses investor perspectives on this session will discuss investor perspective, trends in investment, highlighting the role of ecosystem support in nurturing startups. It will also touch upon diverse funding avenues available for startups, discusses the resource challenges that the startup may face and the strategies that could help overcome. We will touch upon the impact of regulatory environment upon startups and share success stories and learnings along with key milestones. May I invite upon stage Kumar Saurabh, Ecosystem Manager, Venture Catalyst, Dr. Vijay Ramu Dirisala, Principal Investigator, Vignan TBI, and Dean. Amit Kumar Verma, Additional Director, STPI Headquarter. Dinanath Haranapalli, Founder and CEO, Ontropy and ISF Angels. Vamsi Krishna, Founder, Julian Innovations. Sheikh Johnny Bhasha, Founder, Study Comrade Private Limited. Raghav Tandon, Senior Associate, Pontac Ventures. And the moderator, Ratnakar Samavedam, CEO, Hyderabad Angels. I would hand this over to Ratnakar. Please take this up, Ratnakar.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Hi, all of you, and good to meet you. Good to meet you. Sorry. Yeah, sorry. Hi, all of you. Good to meet you again. Good. Thank you. And I think this particular event, I think we have a lot of startups who would like to know what really happening in ecosystem, what kind of help they can get it in the current environment. Third, how they wanted to see the startup ecosystem moving forward. And fourth, what kind of sectors investors are showing interest today. And finally, if there are any Q&A at the end of our event, we would ask them. I welcome each one of you for this event. I know all of you, most of you actually. Thank you all. So before I go ahead and start, I would like a small introduction from each one of you will be a great help. And I will start with Saurabh. Kumar Saurabh, you go ahead with your introduction to the team. Then we'll go next one after the other.
Okay. Hi Ratnakar, good morning, and good morning to all of the panelists. This is Kumar Saurabh. It's already displayed on your screens. My name is there. I'm currently working with Venture Catalyst. We are a multi-stage VC firm. We have a portfolio of around 400 startups with around 100 plus exits we have made and around 150 plus up rounds that we have made. We invest from pre-seed to Series B now. We are running 6 funds as of now as a group company. And we have been very fortunate enough to have a couple of unicorns in our portfolio and the market leaders in our portfolio. And we invest sector agnostic, even though we have a couple of our growth stage funds which are specifically focused on specific industry or the sectors. But we are very keen to invest in early stage startups. Currently, we are currently exploring deep tech and grassroots level innovation startups. So this is what we have been doing. Personally, me been involved in the startup ecosystem, traveling from Jammu Kashmir to Kanyakumari. been involved in all the whole startup ecosystem. So this is a brief about me, and looking forward to have a good discussion.
Thank you, Saurabh. Amit Kumar Verma.
Good morning, Ratnakarji and esteemed panelists and the audience who has joined this program. So I am Amit Kumar Verma, Additional Director at STPI Headquarters. I have more than 15 years of experience in e-governance projects, execution of e-governance projects, and in ICT project. And I am involved in promotion and supporting startup ecosystem in STPI for more than 3 years at headquarters. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. So Dr. Vijayawada.
Nagarji, very good morning and good morning to all the panelists. So I am Dr. Vijayawada from Vignan. So we have this Vignan Technology Business Incubator. I'm serving as a Dean for Promotion, Collaboration, Faculty Affairs. So with this Vignan TBA, what we are doing is we are trying to empower the startups. So we obtain problems from industries, and the problems from industries are taken, and the faculty and the students collectively work on these problem statements, and then the solution arising from these problem statements becomes a startup. And then for the startup to empower this, then we need seed fund. We provide seed fund, and then we connect with venture capitalists, angel investors, and CSR connect. So all these are going hand in hand to ensure that our TBA, although it's young TBA, but still most dynamic TBA, and we ensure that it will grow to great heights. Thank you.
Thank you, Vijay Garu. Dinanath Garu. Dinanath Garu, yeah.
Oh, hi, good morning, Ratnakar, and good morning, everyone on the call today. I am representing two entities here. I'm personally an investor in a portfolio of startups. In addition to that, we run a digital platform for entrepreneurs called Entrepreneur. But more importantly, for this particular call, I also represent an angel network by name ISF Angels. We are a relatively young network of angel investors, early stage focused. We started in August of this year. We have now raised 200 plus crores of deployable funds. We already done about 40 of those, and we're always looking for good quality startups. And our investor base is quite varied. So because of that, we are sector agnostic, to some extent also stage agnostic, even though most of the investors are focused on being the first check or the first, finders of good quality startups. So looking forward to hearing some, good stories today, connecting with you all and see what all we can do together later. Thank you.
Thank you. Vamsi Krishna Garu.
Morning, everybody. Thank you, Ratnakarji. Glad to be here, seeing all the esteemed panel members, and glad to be part of this event. Very thankful for Ministry, TAI, and the Angel Network. I know I've been, this is my third startup, so I know what this means for young startups, particularly who are in the Tier 2, Tier 3 cities. Vamsi Krishna, I have a conversational AI engine that is True Voice AI. So just to tell about it briefly, we want to create a better product than say Amazon Lex or IBM Watson or Google Dialogflow. Now, some people ask me, isn't it too ambitious? But I always say that if you have good ambition, you will end up somewhere. And actually, we have a good product now. And we have certain proven clientele, and we are looking at a growth stage now to take this product like an SDK or a do-it-yourself. That is our next bet, where we think we can scale rapidly. So why I'm saying that is, I personally believe in taking some Indian IP and having a good ambition and take something out of here to there. I mean, developed market or the US or the biggies. So glad to be here. Over to Ratnakar.
Thank you. And Radhav Tandon.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Ratnakar sir and fellow panelist members. My name is Radhav and I represent over here Pontac. Pontac has been partnered with STPI for their investments through the Chunauti scheme. We already have a portfolio of 100 plus startups that we announced in the November 6th event in Delhi. I work over here as a senior associate and as well as a portfolio manager looking after these companies. We do have Julian Innovations and Study Comrade as a portfolio, and I've already spoken to Vamsi and Johnny before as well. So it's always great to be part of a panel discussion where you have your portfolio founders over there. That's all about me. We look for the sector things. We look at smart cities per se. So happy to connect with any founders in the similar space. That's it from my end. Over to you.
Thank you. Thank you. I think today in the panel, we have 3 people who can fund, 2 people who can be incubators and also can fund. One is coming from a founding member. It is a great panel to be, and myself, I am a funder representing Hyderabad Angels. Hyderabad Angels has been there for last 12 years, funded 72 plus startups, sector agnostic, and we were focusing on growth and building companies in Hyderabad and neighboring states of Hyderabad. That's where we are working with. So coming back, I think one of the key thing most of the startup founders are keen to understand is about the funding. So I'll go with that first question to our 3 of our panelists before I move into them. So technically, if you look into the funding environment, most of the startup founders feel today angel investors or networks or VCs has been looking at the startup proposals very tediously and their evaluation has gone very tremendous. Is it something is happening now? So I will go with Saurabh because you handle the largest VC world in the VC and network world. What has been your view? Because you would be seeing many companies coming to you for funding. Is there any change in your outlook? Is it something they have to observe before they come for the investor?
Yeah, sure. So thank you, Ratnagar, for this question. I think this is the talk of the town currently. I'll tell you one thing. There is a very fundamental change in the mindset of the investment agencies, VC funds, angel networks, and so on. I mean, earlier, if you see, down the line, let's say 1.5 years before, the fundamental question was how fast you can grow at 100x every year, irrespective of how much cash you are burning. But now the question has changed and drastically changed. Now the fundamental question is how fast you can grow, but there is an addition that how fast you are you already there on the path of profitability, or how fast you can be there on the path of profitability, right? Obviously, the valuation has drastically changed. I'll say go down, have already gone down. But more than that, I think it happens with all the startup ecosystem. India was in its early days of the as an ecosystem, but now Indian ecosystem is getting matured. And when things get matured, people will always be more serious in nature while evaluating a deal. I think there is no dearth of funding. There is no lack of funding at an early stage. But obviously, there has been a mindset change overall. But and there is a slow in the funding. I'll not say the funding winter is there, even though the winter is going on in the country. But there is a slowdown in the funding process when it comes to the growth stage startups, specifically those who are trying to raise Series A and beyond. Because now your honeymoon period is over, right? Now you have to show the results. That's where we come into the picture. But as far as the early stage investments are concerned, we at Venture Catalyst are doing at least 3-4 deals a month, right? So I don't see there is any dearth, but obviously there is a fundamental mindset is there in the whole ecosystem of the investors.
Thank you, Saurabh. Pinanagar, you represent ISF, which is a lot more going down into the startup ecosystem and trying to help them to grow to next level in terms of bringing required network, because I know I'm working closely with you guys. Is there any specific sectors you would like to watch, or is it general? People can come from any kind of startup background, and today they can look for funding. Is it anything specific you would like to say from your point of view?
Yeah, sure, Ratnakar. Nothing specific from our side in terms of a sector focus. Stage, definitely, as you said, we want to be in the earliest of the possible stages. And what we have also observed is that this has become a fairly complicated space where it's not easy for the founders to make the right connections and be in front of the right people. So the biggest problem we are trying to solve is give a platform, let those entrepreneurs come and talk about their ideas, their ventures. And, the established investors, be it VCs or the angel networks, they're right in the sense that, the hit rate is very, very low. So if you talk to 100, maybe one will pop out as a good one. But then there is a significant gap in the people who come across as credible in the first conversation to the set of people who can become viable with a little bit of mentoring. So even though startups come to us seeking funding, we believe that with a little bit of mentoring, a lot more of them can be pitch ready, they can be funding ready, right? So what we look for are the good quality entrepreneurs. They have good ideas, they have a product or the service that the customers want to buy, and then if there is any gap in their approach to the funding moment, we can fix that, right? So that's our focus. So we are not necessarily focused on any specific sector. Anybody can come. And in fact, those who are rejected by others can definitely come to us, because we know that we'll find a few more than 1 in 100 there. Yeah.
Definitely. So Johnny, sorry, I forgot to introduce you. Can you do small introduction about yourself?
Thank you. Thanks for the chance. So first of all, a very good morning to all the dignitaries out there. So I somewhere I feel like it's too early for me to on the floor with you guys. So I'm a recent graduate. So I recently graduated. So I'm the founder of Study Complete Private Limited. So which I founded this when I was in my third year. So earlier someone was speaking like so in Tier 1 towns it's pretty easy to start any startup because they'll be having many resources. So yes, of course, many people will be having the resources irrespective of the location, but they're not aware. So I'm from a rural background, so I completed my schooling in a government school, and I completed my graduation and BTech in my in a government university itself. So in my when I was my 10 or 12, I wanted to become a cricketer, but very unfortunately, as I am from a very rural background, so there is no cricket academy. But in my pre-university course, when I wanted to become an entrepreneur, so that didn't stop me to become an entrepreneur today when I was in my BTech second year. So when I was preparing for my CAT examination, so that's where when I was doing my online course, I faced many challenges. So thereby I turned out that problem statement into a startup. So luckily, Chunoti 2.0 came. We got shortlisted. So suddenly we got shortlisted, and so Pontac came. So we got mentored under Wadhwani Foundation, and so Radho Tanan sir is here. So we are very happy. So at 3 crore valuation, we have received 15 lakhs of funds. So I don't tell that. So we are doing excellent. But so we have learned many things, and we are about to do excellent. And so if I didn't receive that fund and support from Startup India or NJS, STPI, Vijayawada, so definitely, so I would have been doing 9 to 5 job. I don't tell it is less, but it's not my final agenda. So I want to inspire as many people as possible, and I want to do something great. And I feel like always I want to do something great, and it's literally not possible without you dignitaries and Startup India, all such teams. And I'm really happy to share my valuable insights and my journey over here. So thank you, sir. Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you, John. Since we were discussing about funding and I missed your opportunity, before I go to the next one, Radhan, what we would like to know is, recently Google, Bain, and other people has done a survey with a large number of VCs. And the survey report said that 77% of the VCs would like to invest in SaaS tech companies. And today we are discussing about STPA, and Pontech is one of the key. Is it a SaaS is your theme actually in terms of investment? Because as other areas also looking, because STPA is also catering into gaming and other segments today. So what is the theme you would look at, and what is that you are trying to say to the investors not startups who joined into this panel today?
I wouldn't say SaaS per se, but when you talk about STPI, software and technology is something that we definitely look at alongside STPI and Janati program. where SaaS also comes as one of the cycles. Okay, it's not the overall thing, though there is SaaS as one of the parts of those software technologies that we look at today. But talking about sectors, we are kind of sector agnostic, but majorly looking for companies that are bringing in a new technology towards the society. That's where we call it ourselves as smart city focused. And when I talk about smart city focused, they can be agri-tech, they can be fintech, they can be health tech, and majorly we talk about today the hype of the market is clean and climate tech. Okay, so those being the major sectors that we focus upon, starting from ideation stage going up to MVP stage as well, starting from pre-seed going up to Series A and beyond. Okay, so those are the sectors we focus upon, those are the stages that we focus upon alongside Chunauti today. While SaaS has been the play in the market, right now, deep tech is something that people are focusing on. Space tech is something which people are talking about. Drone tech is something people are talking about. So we are open to those sectors as well alongside SaaS.
Thank you. I think you've given some ideas of the sectors which we have to work. So I'll shift the gears from here. I'll go to Amit. Amit sir, you have been in system and I think you're helping startups. How STPI is helping startups now, because you have investors like us, you have ecosystem players like us, and you also have industries who are also participating with you, and government is also backing you up. What is that startups can expect, especially if they're coming to your program, and how you are bringing help for them actually?
Thank you, Ratnakarji. I would like to touch upon this thing, STPI's overall startup ecosystem. So we all know the STPI startup ecosystem is one of the largest ecosystem in India. We have been supporting the startups, tech startups, basically. Whether it's could be from any sector or any tech in a collaborative manner. So we have a very big mentor pool that we have a very large investor partners. This thing. So if you look at the support in terms of funding support to the startups, basically so far we have been supporting the initial stage startups. We have created a fund, Next Gen Technology Fund 1, that is a Category 2 AIF SEBI registered fund. So whatever that funding support, initial funding support we are extending to the startups, we are routing that fund through Next Gen Technology Fund 1, that is being managed by the Pontech. Mr. Radhavji is here. I would like to tell about the impact of this one, how many startups we have supported, funded from this fund. So far 103 startups we have extended the funding support this thing. Out of these 103 startups, 12 startups have been able to receive the additional funding from the fund itself. And many startups are there who have secured additional funding from other investors as well. So this is basically about the initial funding to the startups. Coming to this scaling stage or growth stage of funding to the startups, we felt that startups have reached to certain levels and we should provide them the funding support, like basically startups who are looking for a market expansion or product diversification or more funding needs. So we have launched this Leap Ahead program to support this, to support the accelerated growth of the startups. We can see the response from the investors. 25 plus investors have collaborated, have signed MOU for this program. Right. So our objective from this program is to enable the funding support of up to 1 crore to the startups. Coming to this market access, we have, I can give examples like there are many players with whom STPI has collaborated. Some of them are like we have recently done collaboration with Thai Silicon Valley to provide the market access, like global exposure to the startups. Right. And the second one that recently we took that startup delegation to Singapore FinTech Festival. That is again the opportunity for the startups, for the market as well as the investors also. Now coming to that mentor pool, like mentoring support to the startups, which basically also helps the startups in refining their business strategy. Business strategy and product refinement and go-to-market strategy. So we have prominent partners like Vadvani Foundation and IMCIP partners are there who helps the startups. We conduct the intensive mentoring bootcamp programs for the startups. That again helps the startup in getting more clients and that market expansion or networking this thing.
Thank you, Amit sir. I think you provided why you started Leap Ahead and what kind of support you can bring it to early stage startups, and also your connect with investors, industry, and mentor pool. I think it's a great advantage. Now coming back to Dr. Vijay Ramagaru, sir, how things are. Your kind of help which you're bringing are down, and especially you're sitting in Vijayawada, Vignan Jyoti, and other things. What kind of startup founders are coming? And now we have a great panel sitting here. Even there are two startup founders are sitting. What is your take, sir, especially? And is there anything you would like to convey us about Vijayawada and Andhra Pradesh, especially the people are coming and what kind of problems, statements they are trying to solve? Where STPI or Hyderabad Angels or VCATs or ISF or Pontech, which are there, where do you see you can connect the dots in terms of, because we have seen very less of action from Vijayawada, but we wanted to know from your horse mouth actually.
Yes, sir. Because people, what we see here, are interested to move to tier 1 cities because resources are more, accessibility is more. These are the main points that are enabling them to move away or shy away from having in tier 2 and tier 3 and moving towards tier 1. That is one thing we see. And also incubators should play a pivotal role in ensuring that these angel investors, venture capitalists come on the same platform to support the startups that are in their incubator. Unfortunately, or to major extent, what happens is these incubators rely on the funds that are coming from DST, DBT, MIT, and other sources, which is not bad. But on the other hand, these startups, once they start their journey, they are putting their life at risk to ensure that they reach greater heights. They aim to reach greater heights. But once they see some kind of disappointment, they shy away and they stop it. So this will be a chain reaction wherein other people think that, okay, this is the case which happens to me also, and they may shy away from having a startup here because they feel that, this proper enrichment or nourishment is not provided. That is what they feel. I'm not saying for every 100%, but at least majority of the percentage, they take it that way. But if these incubators are able to provide a great platform wherein we'll have, day after tomorrow, we are also having a program wherein, startups from across India are coming over here, and venture capitalists we have invited, angel investors are coming over here, and then support from our TBI, that is University Fund, and DST funds. All these are going to provide, the right direction for them. So the major thing, like for your question, is they are shying away to have this because they are not very confident if they are having their startup here, really will they grow well? That is the major obstacle that they are feeling it. So once we all can provide a kind of ecosystem that guarantees their growth, that guarantees their progression, certainly we can attract good number of startups in tier 2 and tier 3. And that is the need of the hour, because the societal problems, even you take, for instance, tuberculosis, US has moved their labs from USA to South Africa because the disease burden is high in South Africa. It's the disease burden is low in, because, sitting in air-conditioned rooms, air-conditioned labs in USA and thinking of the problems in South Korea didn't make sense to NIH USA, so National Institute of Health USA. So they moved towards that. So the problem statements are here. The larger group of population is here. We have good infrastructure. I mean to say, like, if you take, for instance, this Guntur region, you have ITC, we are good for exporting chili, tobacco, and all these are here. So what I mean to say is the ecosystem, if well-established ecosystem is provided, certainly wonders can be happening, and we'll see our India growing to that level. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Vijay. Andukane Thai Vizag, Thai Delhi, STPI, they all brought us to Vijayawada to understand ecosystem well and how we can also add value to you. I think we are all here, and we have to
Yes,
get
sir,
in touch
certainly,
with Dinanath Gar also. They are also doing great job. We have to pulling down to Vijayawada to some time. So coming back, we heard investors, we heard people are incubating and accelerating. Now we'll go back to startups. Vamsi Krishnagar, I'll start with you. What is your expectation? You heard investors on the other side, you heard incubators and STPI, what is that they wanted to provide?
Yeah.
Do you see any missing dots? What is that you are expecting from this ecosystem?
Yeah, I think whatever is happening now, I'm experienced 20 years. I worked in majority of the corporates at the corner office also, the leading roles. So, but when I compare myself before 5-10 years, we didn't have this kind of support because then there are handful of VCs, big VCs, and the big VCs are driven by the fact that they need something proven and they want to put $1 million or at least 250K and above. They wouldn't look at the small guys. Then we have TIE and we have angel networks and all who are doing some part. But when STPI and MIT, DST, all these people are coming together and organizing these, I think Johnny Basha would also watch for this. This is creating a large impact in the society. Like it is like, because we're talking about Vijayawada, if you go towards Rajahmundry, there are many nurseries there, right? So the nurseries are important. So this is creating that ecosystem, and not that every startup will succeed, but it's a process because the learning what we get is much more valuable in terms of your next startup, in terms of how much value you can contribute in the economy. Even if you take up a job tomorrow, this kind of learning you don't get what an entrepreneur gets. So I think the whole objective I see of this, what Mighty is doing, the vision of Rajiv Chandrasekharan or whoever, I think it's a very good thing that is happening. I mean, not just for me, it is a good thing happening for India altogether. Like I heard that Israel has a very favorable environment for startups, but that is happening here. And I hope along with ourselves, we'll create some big brands and big IPs which serve here, of course, but I would also like to see some things which are more MNCs, which will go and create large impact. So in this scenario, there are a couple of things I would like to still see, for example, for the investor community. So we have seen, Flipkart, Amazon is there, Flipkart is there. So we have seen, say, Uber is there, Ola has come, right? Airbnb, Oyo. But why don't we see something like a LinkedIn or a Facebook or a Hotmail getting seeded and funded in India? Because Sabir Bhatia is an Indian, right? And if you see some of these guys, the brains are Indians. But the thing is, when a deep tech startup happens, which has a longer road of 7 years or say 5 years, I mean, as an Indian investment ecosystem, I'm not sure if we are risk averse, or I'm not sure if we are not able to evaluate such opportunities. Not that I have that great idea. I'm not like Zuckerberg, but I'm just saying we don't see those kind of absolute innovations here. So somewhere as a community, we should possibly see some of that kind of stories also. And as far as the mentoring is concerned, I would also like to see as an entrepreneur, if we have certain segment of mentors who have a stake in the game, it need not be monetary, it can be something. It can be something so that they handhold the startup from, say, for the 6 months to the next stage. Of course, their mentor gets to select the kind of startup they want to work with. The startup gets to select the mentor, but if they have a stake like a name, recognition or something, so I think at least mentorship, if you see, one thing is pitching, of course. One thing is helping the product to become economic ready so that investors understand. But the other thing is the startup founders also go through a lot of personal journey, a personal stress, and mentors and seniors who would have seen already can actually help them at those critical points to tell them this is how you have to look at, rather than looking at it like this. So maybe they can say, why don't you go and talk to somebody? And so that kind of mentoring may be a little bit deeper than the pitching and looking at one step ahead. So some hand holding, if some people are interested, if STPI or this ecosystem can create a path for that kind of mentoring, I think many startups will be benefited. And apart from that, I mean, market access, in terms of market access, I think once we had a meeting, and STPI director visited Image COE. I work out of Image COE in Hyderabad. So he was suggesting that we can have a portfolio of startups, and say, for example, for a startup, the cost of accessing a customer, putting the effort is more. But as a group, if STPI publishes a portfolio, so these are all the startups, they have a separate track. They need not, you can have a technical evaluation on them, but you cannot say that a startup has to be 10 years experience in the industry. A startup should have, say, $4 million in the last year. So then you can't purchase, you can't give a chance to the startup. So if there is a parallel track, and if there is a portfolio discovery organized within the portfolio on behalf of STPI, that will also add good value both for the market, because many times the market, it may not even know that they are, for example, I work with very small speech recognition companies in the US. They have much better product than Google speech recognition, but it's just that a chance of discovery. But if there is a discovery enabled, I think it will help both the market as well as startups. And I also think there are shared services. For example, one thing all startups struggle is getting a CS, getting a CA, getting an HR, getting a CFO, all these things. I mean, within the program, as a startup, I cannot hire individually. So I personally work with firms so that I don't have a full-time cost on all these administrative and support tasks. And being from an MBA, I worked in banking, other industries, I am able to manage these things. But for many startups who are tech founders, this thing creates a lot of, stress, and it takes away a lot of time. So they should be spending more time with their customers. So if in this kind of system, if we can do a pay for shared services, which are support services like HR, like payroll, like accounts. I mean, startups will, because the startup won't need a full-time person, but they can share a resource. And for example, SCPI can share those resources. Whoever want, they can pay per use or as a shared resource, whatever the cost is. But someone has to enable that and give the chance to the startups. I think that will also help the startups quite a bit.
Definitely, Vamsikar. I think you brought many points actually to the team. One is mentor pool. I think mentor pool is there, sir. One thing which many people are coming forward to do the mentor pool. I think we have to get the right access. You also spoken about bringing another LinkedIn, another thing. I think we are seeing that is going to happen. It is only a time which will come. I think the perception of the consumers in India still has to change, but it is changing. I think few of them has been successful on third area, but it's a long way to go. Third is the common shared services. I think still this has to be cracked. I think people are seeing this as a service notion. Each one is coming with a different price. I think people have their own challenges. But noted down, sir, from these 3 points from the pool, before I go to the second question, sorry to stop you, but because of the time, I have to do that. Johnny, only one question I would like to ask. We want you to keep it sweet. Say, I don't know if you are in Vijayawada or some other location, why do you want to move to Tier 1? What is that Vijayawada is lacking? If I ask you that question, is it has everything what you want, or do you still think to get right guidance, still you need to go to Tier 1?
No, sir. Actually, so regarding the resource wise, so we just need, as being in a private, even it's a, what we call product based or service based. So just need good resource. So everything is there. So even in Vin City, so we had there for 1.5 years over there. So all the resources are there. But the Tier 1, that's the impact that they have created. That's it. That's because of that impact. So any of the startup founders just want to go to Hyderabad or Bangalore. So it's just the impact that has been created. So there is no any specific reason for it, sir.
Thank you, John. So coming back, the question to Dinanath Garu, you heard three versions now. One is from startup, one is from investor, one is from incubators. How you, as a being one of the key ecosystem player, can connect the dots? Is that something you would like to tell even the startups who are watching today? How we can help them in bringing the dots and see that this synergy can be taken to the next level? Because you're working very hardly on that area. I know you're working very hard, but is there anything you want to tell as a team here in the panelists that we have to take this particular thing very seriously?
Oh, absolutely, Ratnakar. I think all of those points are absolutely valid because I know there's definitely a lot of wisdom in the collective input here. People see from different angles, right? So let me first touch on what Vamshi said. That is something that we hear from a lot of startups. The need for shared services. There are two things that, or I would say three things that these startups need. They look at funding as a major focus area, and they tend to forget a lot of other things, right? And it's true because that's where they're hurting. So all the attention is in let me get some money in the bank account, let me get going. But there are a few other things that entrepreneurs need to be aware of. There is no point in raising a seed and not being tight in managing the ship. And we have come across startups where they get a little bit, and it could be an angel investor, it could be a friends or family. They get going, and they're not trained, they're not aware, and obviously there's not enough of effective mentorship. So they get into regulatory issues. Somebody gets a notice for a very silly point, as simple as not filing a GST on time. And so these notices pretty much kill the most valuable asset they have, which is not the cash in the bank, it is the time. And they can solve the problem, and they can also go to those firefighters, the age-old CAs and CS who have a way of sorting these out. But by the end of that cycle, they have spent a whole lot of money, which they thought they didn't have to begin with, and a whole lot of time, which we all know they don't have. Everybody needs to be racing in this world, and they're left with a much worse off situation. So I think one important, and taking use of this platform, Ratnakar, what I would communicate to every single budding entrepreneur here is don't ignore the boring. Idea is exciting, but get the boring things done first in the day. And once, so even before Vamshi's point, right, are there shared services in this world that these guys can get done, efficiently? They first have to have the mindset that is important. You don't want to be in a situation to be firefighting, especially on these issues. So my number one point to all the entrepreneurs here is get the house in order. Okay, whether it is small or big doesn't matter. There is very little room for unicorns in this world, and I think we are absolutely. In fact, I am of the opinion that I don't want to be focused on a unicorn. There are better people to do that. They're more equipped to do that. I would rather focus on a huge number of good startups who probably will be a fraction of a unicorn valuation, but nevertheless solve the type of problems that this society needs to be solved. And our country, more than any other country in this world right now, has a collection of problems that no one else has, right? And it's an opportunity, fantastic opportunity, but it requires focus, it requires discipline. So that is my number one message. But having done that, right, now the point that Vamshi mentioned comes up. Okay, so now the person knows that the boring thing has to be done first in the day, but how do I do that? And the old methods don't work. We need to be having that UPI mindset in every section of our business, right? So these days you can pay anybody. Earlier, literally, it took to get your own money, it took half a day. You had to go to a bank, stand in front of a teller, be told by the teller that no, not this counter, and then not that counter, and then not, and the third counter. Finally, the guy gave you the money after having taken a tea break for 15 minutes. And this was, I don't know how many people relate to this, but I've done this, right? So now, you could be stopping at a traffic junction, okay, and get that money or send that money, before the light turns, right? So this is how far the India has come. So I know there's a big story to be told on the UPI, but that mindset needs to come to every single thing. Can I file a GST, with one click? Can I, can I stay out of the regulatory problems, by spending just about half hour a day and not more than 5,000-10,000 rupees a month? These are the problems that are there. And this is an opportunity, is a challenge for entrepreneurs, It's also an opportunity for entrepreneurs. So by the way, Vamshi, we do have a platform. In fact, I invested a lot in getting something like that, because I know that many startups have been killed. In fact, the many startups have actually closed down the shop because they got a GST notice, they got this, they got that, right? So that is number one, Ratnakar. I know that is the boring message, but I wanted just to stay true to my statement. I want to get that boring thing out first. Okay. Now the question is of opportunity, and I'll take half a minute to describe. There is no shortage of interest. There is no shortage of mentors, and there is no shortage of money for the right people and the right idea and the right execution capacity. The problem has always been in the gaps and in the connection. How do I find, those people who are focused and hardworking? How do I find that idea? Even if an entrepreneur comes to me with an idea, can I have a set of mentors who can tell that entrepreneur, look, this idea is great, but it's not practical. But only if you tweak this a little bit, and if you're willing to work on that, right? It's a fantastic opportunity. The other biggest message I have to all entrepreneurs is, I find very few, good listeners in the entrepreneurial community. It's, my way or highway. Okay. And it's probably ends up in a no way, right? So that is something that people need to be open. My definition of an entrepreneur, and this I apply to myself before anybody, is a constant learner. Every minute is a learning opportunity. And if people don't come with that mindset, and not that you have to listen to everything and do everything, but understand everything, right? And then you have the inputs needed to take that right next step. So my next message would be, start having conversation. Yes, there are inefficiencies in connecting people. We can all collectively work together and making sure connections happen, making sure, digital platforms bridge that gap, conversations happen. But beyond that, if you're not willing to be disciplined and focused and get the boring thing done first in the day, and if you're not willing to be learning every single minute, there is going to be very little success. Okay. Hopefully that answers your question.
Thank you. I think Vinada sir said right things. Get the boring thing right done first. I think that is key important thing for many of our startup founders also. Please watch it, because today compliance is run by artificial intelligence and it is throwing notices. Even a small mistake, it is very difficult to survive, and it is a nuisance value for all of us, including investors. Coming back, Saurabh, I know for last 1.5 to 2 years, we catch you were there. You said Bharat is the big innovation center going forward. You were searching for good diamonds in tier 2, tier 3 cities, and VCATS has been one of the key area. Is there something you observed common when you were traveling and seeing the world, especially when you compare South with North or East with West? Is there any traits which you observed, and is that something when we are speaking to Vijayawada down south, where most of the people are there today? Any message on that side? Because you have seen all sides of the corner now of the country.
Sure. Thank you, Ratnakar. So, before answering your question, I would like to, focus on a couple of points, what Vamsi said and, Dr. Dinanath Garu also said. Vamsi mentioned a couple of points. One thing is, focusing on a long-term innovation or to be specific, the deep tech startups. We already have Joho, we already have Freshworks for that matter, right? Now, as far the core of the deep tech startups are concerned, I'll tell you one thing, it's not the fault of ours as an investor. It's no one's fault actually. So there is a step-by-step guide how an ecosystem can work out. And the first thing to nurture deep tech ideas, or for that matter any ideas, is the work of the incubation centers, academic institutions, and the government agencies like STPI or the local associations, right? Now, here we have someone from the incubation center, Dr. Vijayawada Garu as well, right? If you travel down the line, let's say 5 years or 6 years, right? Dr. Vijay is also a professor. Am I right, Dr. Vijay?
Yes, I am professor.
Yeah, right. Now he will also agree. I'll be very frank in my opinion. Actually, it might seem wrong as well to the academic side, but the fact of the matter is, first of all, the business model of the incubation centers at an academic institution has yet not been explored fully. Forget about down the line 6 years, right? 90% of the incubation centers does not have proper dedicated teams, and the academic leadership actually pushes forward the professors to take over the person who has actually applied for the grant. and they become the principal investigator, and we also call them as the professor in charge. And then the academic leadership, forces them to be there as acting as a CEO for the incubation center. But the problem is, if you see down the line 6 years, 7 years, the professors, not to be disrespectful to anyone.
Saurabh, sorry to stop you, because it is more of encouragement to invest startup guys and helping us as a group to do that. Let us not comment anything on other side. Let us help us. What is that you observe? Let us not go into that section what you are trying to do. Yes, it is an ecosystem which is building up. You also agree. It is going through that phase. Everybody has to grow through that phase. And I think each one of them, they are putting their time and money in doing that activity. Even professors are showing a lot of enthusiasm in doing it. Let us not look into that area. You let me know what is you observe the rate of the startup founder. That's only a request I make.
Yeah. So Ratnakar, so this was the situation down the line 5 to 6 years. But now if you see, Dr. Vijay Garu is here. He is taking out time to be on the platform. And this is, I think, a phenomenal change, which, while traveling from, in all these tier 2, tier 3 cities, I have seen that there is an urge in the academic institutions as well, that they need to, inculcate entrepreneurship or incubation as one of the major department. And now the situations is changing very rapidly. If you go to, places like Mirzapur in UP, or smaller towns like Guntur, or smaller part of the Vijayawada like Tadepalli and so on, you will find now a number of incubation centers coming out, right? So the ecosystem is evolving, but at the same time, entrepreneurs also have to understand one thing is like, there is a difference between building a great product versus trying to deliver the great product to the investors. So we will only hear what you are saying. We will not be get dive in your first page and try to understand your product. So as an ecosystem, it is growing. Obviously, there is a lot of work which has to be done. STPI, if you see, past 3 years, these guys are running Chunauti. I think that was the first thing they launched. They have opened their spaces and kind of expanding these all together in all of their centers, and open these from small companies to now the startups as well. They themselves has a mentor pool. Startup India has a mentor pool. Every incubation center has a mentor pool. As far as your shared services are concerned, we at VCATS, what we do, we tie up with a lot of service providers, and we try to give our services, those services at a very subsidized rate. One of the fact about the VCAT is like our mortality rate of the startup or the deals that we do is less than 10%, which is purely opposite to what the ecosystem status shows, right? That is only because we do not only give money to the startups, but more than that, we involve them on a day-to-day basis, right? We have our own, CXO panel where we interact, every day, not every day to be very exact, but whenever there is a need, we invite those CXOs, we, make them sit with our founders and try to figure out those things. As far as a collective platform is concerned, if STPI, as Mr. Amit mentioned, that they took a group of startups to Singapore. Same thing we did. We took to Dubai. We take to Singapore as well, right? So this is happening now. When it comes to the diversification, coming to your question, Ratnakar, if you go in the south part, I think what I have observed is people are too technical in nature. And if you come to the northern part of the India, people are too business in nature, right? But unfortunately, there has been a gap between two communities, and I think there has to be a marry between these two communities so that the technical brains and the business brains can come together, and then they can flourish together, right? Because that is how startup teams are also formed. You need a business guy, you need a technical guy at the same time, right? And that is now actually happening. If you see, there is a lot of exchange programs which are going between the incubation centers itself. Organizations like TAI, now this program being supported on a national level from TAI Delhi NCR, but at the local level, TAI Vizag is involved, right? STPI having their headquarter in Delhi, but they are going to Vijayawada. Unfortunately, not exactly physically in Vijayawada today because of the cyclone, but and anyhow, they have their center in Vijayawada as well, right? So this is now happening, that exchange of ideas are happening. Obviously, the different regions will have different kind of specialities in them, but because of different organizations coming together, merging together, now I think the ecosystem earlier was more of working individually, that was the focus, but now people have understood the power of collaboration. Me as an ecosystem enabler, if I want to do any meetup in any of the towns in India or cities in India, for me it's very easier. The only most important factor for that making it easier is the collaboration. And I think any of the players, be it the government, be it the academic, be it the incubation, maybe private or public, institutions, nodal agencies, they all are collaborating together. Even the states are collaborating, and I think that's the way forward. And it is evolving. You cannot expect something to be done overnight. Whatever we are today, it's not a journey of let's say a couple of years only, right? We have our first unicorn way back in 2010, right? And at that time no one even knew the word unicorn, but we have now more than 100 plus of unicorns, right? So it's a evolving phase. And but to be very frank, India is evolving, and in a very matured and in a very positive manner that I have been experiencing while traveling, whether south, north, or whatever region of the country.
Thank you, Saurabh. I think thanks for that. So before I go to Raghav, Amit, one of the point which Kumar has brought in, many startup founders are struggling to find right co-founders, and especially in the south, they are looking for people who can bring business. And when you look into north, they look at technology, which is again down south, and STPI plays a bigger role. Is it something you wanted to watch out, or you're doing some activity on that area?
Yeah, actually, we are in development of that startup connector platform. So bringing that all the startups that are from our ecosystem this thing on the same platform, so that will help them in interacting with this thing with each other startups. So that we are very soon we are coming up with that startup connect platform, and it will be available for the startups.
Thank you. So Raghav, the question is, a lot of discussion was there on deep tech. So people have confusions on deep tech actually. Any specific definition you wanted to tell what is deep tech and how do you see? Somebody is using Java, they say mine is a deep tech, or somebody is using some other tool. How do you define a deep tech for the startup founders? What is that they have to work closely to understand they are working with the deep tech area, and that is one of the key interests for investors to invest. And because you're working closely with STPI, do you see any kind of help you're getting from STPI in making this startup to understand deep tech expertise and getting investable? Any viewpoints from your side?
Sure. I think the definition of deep tech, while you will have some verbal definition to it, it's very subjective. It differs from person to person, investor to investor, incubator to incubator. Let it be angel network to angel network. Okay. And over the period of time, the definition has evolved a lot. Okay. While 3 months back, when I was talking about deep tech startups, I was nowhere around AI/ML. I was around IoT per se. Today, when I talk about deep tech, I am much more focused upon AI than IoT. Okay. 3 months down the line, when I'll be talking about 3 years down the line, when I'll be talking about deep tech, it's going to be something else. Okay. Similarly, were we talking about space tech three years back? No, we were not. But space tech today definitely comes under deep tech. Similarly for drone tech. Okay. So the definition of deep tech evolves over time. Okay. The major thing the founders needs to focus upon is solving the real problem. Okay. Is there a real problem in the world today? Okay. If there is the real problem, this is the right time to start, whether it's funding, whatever you call it a funding winter, call it a market correction, but this is the right time. Being an investor, I do really feel this is the right time for us to invest as well. Okay. Because we are getting the right valuation, we are getting the right sort of founders, the founder who's good enough to build companies, they will give you an exit in one way or the other, and your money is not going down. Okay, so this is the time to back the right founders as well. Okay, so it's always good to focus upon, not strict yourself to deep tech just because investors are focusing more upon deep tech. It's better to focus upon the value that you can build to the economy or the society. Okay.
So Radha, I'll stop you one point here. Most of the investors in Angel Network, as an opinion, deep tech can be built by IITs or a person like Vamsi who has a relevant experience to understand. But an young guy like Johnny who is sitting here, if he's not from IIT background, do you think he can build a deep tech, and how do I identify the time?
The time has gone where we were only funding IIT and IIM founders, I would ideally say. Okay. So we at after in partnership with STPI, where Amitji mentioned, we've already funded 103 startups. 60% of our portfolio companies come from tier 2 and tier 3 cities. Okay. And we have funded startups in 23 states. Not all the founders would be IIT IIM founders. Okay. It's all about the idea and the clicking. Okay, you going through the journey, you can have the CTOs or the technical team joining in. Okay, who may be from the IIT IIM background or may not be from the IIT IIM background. Okay, so things flow. And adding to the point that Kumar had, where we have north and south bifurcation of technology and business, I would like to disagree with this, because we have had portfolios up north, companies like Arfik as an example, who have been able to do such well in health tech and AI space. They are coming from Rajasthan and a tier 2 city in Rajasthan called Tong. Okay. And at the same time, we have companies in our portfolio like Priti Lab who come from Coimbatore, and MaxByte who comes from, again, Tamil Nadu. And we have Energy 24/7, which comes from Kerala. Okay. So there have been technical founders who have been able to find the business part of it, and there have been business founders who have been able to find a technical part of it. That have been the place right now, and any founder today, I'm happy to have Johnny and Vamsi as part of our portfolio, who have been able to build those things without that IIT IIM tag that we have been looking for in the last 10 years in this industry.
Thank you, Radha. I think the message from you is very clear. Deep tech is not a clear expertise for IITs only. There are other founders who are bringing in, and there is an opportunity. So
Definitely.
Since we're almost another 5-10 minutes into the panel, we're almost near to 1 hour. So I will ask Dr. Vijay, you have to say anything for the investors, and during this panel conversation, anything we missed in our conversation, Vijay?
All the things are covered, and like some of the panelists said, the platform, creation of the right platform. And it's in their mind, these in tier 2, tier 3 cities, things cannot happen easily, or they will not be able to find the right co-founders or whatever. For that, they're moving. It is not that, the mentor pool, the investors, everyone has to create a kind of confidence in them, because they're keeping their life or whatever, because like the other panelist member, my co-panelist member had mentioned, that okay, if I go to some city, I may find a better job, I may get that kind of package. We should be able to provide confidence that yes, even you choose this path, you will be able to succeed, and we give you that kind of support. With that, we can see more number of startups coming up, in this region.
Thank you, Vijay.
Yeah, thank you.
So Vamsi, you had lifted the hand. Anything specific you wanted to say?
Yeah, when you were saying deep tech, IIT, IIM, the support you get in IITs is essentially from the academia. So, for example, any academic institution, if they promote, like, for example, I would expect to see more deep tech innovations from IISc. They do fundamental work. So I think that academia has to build in, Siddhartha Engineering College or wherever it is, Dr. Vijayawada Garu, I think they can play a role in encouraging deep tech. I think IIT, IIM essentially gives you the network and the confidence. And I'm also from IIM Calcutta, just for disclosure.
Thank you, Vamsi. And Johnny, just you're there, you're hearing to the panelists.
Yes.
What is your expectation overall after hearing? Because you've seen investors, you've seen incubators, you've seen Vamsi like senior person who is running the startup. What is yours? You are the youngest in the lot.
Yes, sir. So two fundamental things required for any entrepreneur as per my knowledge. So the second thing is funding. So rather than the funding, the first priority thing is the mentoring, sir. So moreover, even after getting into the STPI, after getting shortlisted for Chunarity 2.0, we got mentoring from Vadvani Foundation. So even after this leap ahead, so the startups who got shortlisted, they'll be having some mentoring. After that, the due diligence was supposed to happen, right? So the mentor is moreover like the more general things, sir. So it's more general thing. So irrespective of the domain of the startup, so all are given the general mentoring. So I feel like so I can get that mentoring even in YouTube as well. So but domain specific mentoring should be needed. So what do I do with Desi Hangovers case study? So it's a chapel making company. So I heard it's really inspiring story which was delivered by Wadhwani Foundation. But I am an edtech platform. So tell me about Baiju, tell me about IntelliPath, tell me about something else which is relevant to my thing. So the whatever the mentoring that you are planning after this Leap Ahead program. So somewhere I feel like it should be domain specific. So which is not freely available in any free sources like YouTube or something else. That's what I need to add from my end.
Thank you, Johnny. I think overall as a panel, I think we discussed about current environment on the funding side. It is looking very positive. We also discussed about deep tech. People can come in. We also discussed about kind of help which we can bring, which Dinanath has said about boring things needs to be done first. And Amit, who is representing STPI, they brought what kind of help they can bring, and they're doing many events. Dr. Vijay Garu, again, running a large panel in Vijayawada, again, his views, especially. And Vamsi being a senior startup founder, and he also told few areas which he was looking for help. I think it is going to come through this panel. And Johnny clearly said mentoring and data is available, but he wants domain-specific mentors who can help him out. And he also said a very encouraging word. You don't need to travel out of Vijayawada or something tier 2 cities. Their required help is coming on the table. It was great meeting all of you. Unless if our participant says that participants have a right to ask any questions to the panel, or it is done. I don't know, but I'm saying we are near to 1 hour. So I completed my task in terms of moderating and getting all required answers.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Sambedam. I actually don't see any questions from the audience here. So I think we are very well done with the insights that were shared here. This was actually quite wonderful. I think as far as I'm concerned, I got some very, very clear asks from people here as to how the current program can benefit from the discussion that was had here. And of course, in many ways, one on the ask and one was how we can leverage people like yourselves in order to be able to enrich the program further. So thank you very much for sharing your views, all the panelists. Thank you very much, Mr. Sambedam, for having run it in such a tight fashion. Thank you, folks. This brings us to our next panel discussion, which is going to be talking about building a sustainable ecosystem where government, industry, and academia collaborate. This panel is the primary sort of goal of this panel is a discussion to explore the pivotal role of collaboration between government bodies, industry, academia, as the title suggests. We aim to delve into the strategies, challenges, and success stories that define such collaborative efforts, the significance of government support in fostering startups, touch upon industry, academia collaboration and how that can benefit startups, and of course, discuss policy recommendation in order to optimize this collaboration. For this, I would like to invite up on stage your moderator, Ravi Iswarapu, CEO, AHUB, and President IVISAC. Dr. Amit Chavan, CEO, VIT AP, T. Anil Kumar, CEO, AP Innovation Society, Madhavi Bupala Pati, sorry about that, Madhavi, founder Symmetrics, Dr. M. Gayatri, founder FIDES MedTech Private Limited, Professor E. Srinivasa Reddy, who's the Dean of College of Engineering, Acharya Nagarjuna University, and also Mentor NGIS Vijayawada. Govil Alok, CEO, KL Technology Incubators Foundation. Samir Dayal Singh, founder, Humble Innovations Private Limited. And I'd like to request Ravi Iswarapuji to please take it forward.
Very good afternoon, everybody. Yes, just been through a wonderful panel discussion. I think there's a lot of takeaways from that, which would get into this panel too. I think before we start off, maybe quite a quick round of quick introductions, 1 minute introductions by each. So I'll go one after the other. Sir Anil Kumar Garu, CEO, AP Innovation Society.
Morning, sir.
Morning, very good afternoon, sir. Please, just for the panel to know, or sorry, the participants to know about you, of course, the panel too. So a quick introduction, please.
Yeah, good morning, sir, and thank you for the opportunity. First of all, I'd like to congratulate both STPI and TAI for organizing such a wonderful event. And as Bhunesh Kumar sir said, we missed having the physical event here. We'd have been very loving to have it and also fortunate to have that. Unfortunately, due to the inclement weather conditions, we couldn't have it. I'm Anil. I've been heading the AP Innovation Society from last year. I am from the state services, AP government, and since the time I took up, with the support of all the other ecosystem partners like Ravi Garu, Suresh Garu from STPI, Amit ji, and so many other incubator colleagues, we could able to give some traction to the innovation and startup ecosystem. So I'd like to take it forward with all other fellow panel supports and also the panelist support and also the participant support. Thank you. We'll know more in the proceedings. Thank you, Raviji.
Thank you, Anil Garu. So now I would go to the startup founders out here. I'll start with Madhavi Garu. Hello, Andy Madhavi, again after a long time. The founder Symmetrics and also charter member with TAI. Quickly about yourself, ma'am.
Yeah, hi. Thanks again for the opportunity. And sorry we couldn't meet in person, but I hope everybody that's there in Vijayawada is safe. So quickly about myself, I'm a IT services entrepreneur. This is my second venture. I've been doing IT services since I don't know 25, 30 years now. I think of myself as a entrepreneur, women entrepreneur, global entrepreneur. So these and tech entrepreneur. So these are my sort of fortes, so to speak, and I'd love to contribute to whatever questions in these areas that you ask questions or any discussion in that one. And I'm also a golfer and a singer. That's my other introduction. But happy to be here. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. The Taekwondo's always start with golfing session, so look forward for you in Vizag.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, over to good to see women representation. I think that's growing pretty big and large in the Indian ecosystem. So, Madam Dr. Gayatri ji, founder Fidus MedTech. Again, a sector that's where India is probably going to do a big things with the AMTZ in being the India's or probably Asia's largest medtech zone. I would say the best kept secret. Quickly, a minute of introducing yourself, ma'am.
Yeah, I am Dr. Gayatri, Director of Fidus MedTech Private Limited. I have worked 35 years in the government service in different cadres. After my retirement, I was doing this job because during my services, I was very busy as a gynecologist in the government services serving the patients. I think I am the admin out of this panel because I never knew anything about this computers or AI, ML. That was a different world for me. We are always with the medical profession and medical background. So in the beginning, I felt very difficult to reach this level. I got an idea about that, and I went to, I don't know whom to contact about this my product, but I faced a lot of problems. But I could succeed till the prototype have come. Within 6 months, my device is coming into the market. That is on the laboring women. My concern is many of the software specialists, they are doing jobs with the software technologies and the software apps and all those things, but very less in the biomedical devices, I feel. And that too, one doctor, that too, and a lady doctor, that too from South India, I think this is the first time I felt. And I need support from all the technical experts. That's my background.
I think, yes, you're not the odd person out. I think subject matter expertise is the core. Technology can be easily built over it. I think Madhvi is taking a yes, that's very true. So now moving on to Mr. Samir Dayal Singh ji. Are you there? I think.
Hello, sir. Hi. Am I audible?
Yes, you are. You are. Please, founder Humble Innovations. Quick line of introduction, sir.
I started in college. Like I took up a project that will fix public toilets in the country. We are sending rockets to moon, so toilets should be clean. And this was my major project. And then Kerala Startup Mission picked it up. The college gave us a little bit of funding, and we started off. And over time, we got funding from DBT and other departments, and also got. So then we got some private equity funding from 100x VC and Pontac and STPI, and HDFC Bank has also invested in our company. And we are working towards building whatever technology is required for the housekeeping, the sanitation workforce of the country. So there's a lot of possibility. There's a lot of unorganized market and a lot of things to be done. Yeah, sir. That's about that.
Thank you, Samir. I think humble beginnings, but now I think we rename your company. You're doing great. So yeah, thank you for being there. Okay, now the academia representation. I'll start with Shri Govil Alokji. So yes, sir. Again, after a long time, meet. Quick introduction about yourself.
Yeah, hello everyone. It's chilling out in Vijayawada, I must say that, because we know the after effects of what's happening here. And yes, myself, Govil Alok, working as a group CEO for the entire incubation centers established at KL University. Call it KL Technology Incubator Foundation, call it Atal Community Innovation Center, or an MSME business incubator. Having 3 upfronts in different sectors and trying to nurture all different categories of startups itself is something which is very experiential, I must say that, and definitely looking forward to share all the experiences with respect to the panel discussion happening here.
Thank you, Mr. Govil. Then Dr. Amit Chauhan. Yes, sir. Again, very good afternoon.
Very good afternoon, Ravi Garu.
Yes,
sorry, your voice was not clear at the beginning, so I couldn't hear the first minute or so. But very good morning to all the panelists here. Privileged to be with the group here who have great experience, and I'm sure we'll come out with very valuable discussions. Talking about VIT-AP, so our incubation activity has just started, I would say, a year ago, and then we have made a significant improvement or taking good initiatives going ahead. We are having a Section 8 incubation center with the NGO and CSR1 recognition. We already have around 30 incubators that are working in our incubation center. And then we provide all the necessary services that are required at the incubation level. And then we are also participating in major national initiatives. And then going ahead, we would like to see more collaborations that could happen through this panel discussion. Thank you.
Thank you. Professor Srinivas Reddy ji, are you on the call? I don't see you there. Okay, so I think we had a round of introductions. I would start with the most critical people putting everything together. That's the government. So I'm putting you on spot, Anilji, out here. So, okay. The topic is about...
Raviji, you didn't introduce yourself. We had to do your introduction.
Yes.
I'm buying time out.
And we have Dr. Gayatri also, from the government. That's good to know. So, the ecosystem, I know it's a collaborative thing. We're all in it together. So, from the policy making perspective, see, let's talk of the Silicon Valley. It's a sustainable sort of an ecosystem was built over generations. That's what they say. A healthy, sustainable ecosystem is built over generations. So having the right set of policies, right set of systems in place, so that to ensure that there is a continuity through the generations or through different governments and other stuff. How I know you've been doing a great job bringing about 46, I think, incubators together, a lot of partner organizations, everything together. Could you just walk us through how you're building such ecosystem and that's ensuring long-term sustainability of these systems.
Yeah, thank you, Raviji. And in fact, we should credit you. You've done the greatest job among all of us. In fact, when whichever forums I go, I keep telling that we have sustainable model. Our hub has done and shown us the way. So that with respects to you, and then as per of answer to the question that you just put out, I think the biggest factor in building an ecosystem is to have the infrastructure in place. Having said that, I think we had way back, AP Innovation Society had one of the first incubators at different locations, being it Kakinada, Tirupati, Vijayawada, and of course the biggest one in Vizag in the IT cells. A lot of you would have seen it, and then if not, somebody had not seen it, I request the participants also to come and have a visit and look at it. And apart from that, putting the incubators together, we had to have the, as you said rightly, the policy has to be in place, and then unfortunately, though we are the first state to do it, now we don't have a separate policy, so we're working on it. And Startup India had come forward, and we are partnering with them to build a robust policy. In fact, you look at off late, I think one of the few states that has done exceedingly well is Rajasthan. I request all of you to have a look at Rajasthan's website and also Rajasthan's startup policy, which has come up very, very nicely. So, and we are trying to see how best we can put. We are part of my team has studied different policies from the states, and also we are looking at outside India as well. The University Business Incubator, UBI Global, is a organization which brings out rankings, and in that regard, I trouble a lot of the incubators to give us various data from different times. So we're trying to put all those key performance indicators together and try to, as our secretary, Conor sir, keeps telling us, try to standardize the procedures so that what we are missing in this field is the KPIs. Like once we standardize and say that this is the yardstick and this is the benchmarking, this is where you stand. Suppose Ahab stands today in building a sustainable incubator. So the rest of us can easily emulate. And as Raviji had already kept on telling us how he has been utilizing to the maximum, to the optimum capacity. So once we start doing that, the rest of the incubators also can follow it up, and it's very easy situation for us. I've been to Kerala Startup Mission, and then they've done a beach hurdle festival recently where more than 10,000 plus startups gathered and 20 plus countries had come, which is not a small thing for a startup mission from a state to do it. In fact, ministers from Australia, Belgium ambassador, cutting across, even Ashish Tharoor, the Trivandrum MP, was there giving a talk. Then the ONDC CEO, a lot of stalwarts. So I was very surprised to see that kind of thing coming out from such a small state, and also it was a full 3-day session, and which was happening and showcasing the tourism aspects as well. So it is something of that sorts if we can build. Why did I bring out Kerala Startup Mission here? Is that because they are ranked #1 in the world, not just in India. Because on the UBA report, they've been placed as the best public enterprise incubation system they had done. And interestingly, what I got to know is that they had put in more than 160 fab labs, not just one or two. They put 160 fab labs where they're in the race for semiconductors today. So it is something that we had to observe and then understand. We are talking about the Madras Research Park, which is the #1 in the country. Cumulatively, the Madras Research Park, together, it's valuation is upfront about 40,000 crores plus. They're doing international conference on startups coming, I think, December 10th to 13th. I've been in touch with them as well. I've been trying to write a paper for that. So when you look at that, these kind of things and are happening in the world not too far away from us. There have been success stories which we can emulate. Like just before this, I was talking to Krishnavarat Garu, from IIT Tirupati. And Sir was discussing how to utilize the incubator facility that we got in IIT Tirupati. I was proposing let's do some training programs because we got a great facility right outside the airport, 500 meters. I think a lot of you would have seen or not seen it. So how to utilize these infrastructure facilities that we got. Amici is there, Alok is there. I've been to all of their incubation facilities, saw it, and trying to propose and do different activities with different players. Probably Gayatri ma'am is also there to MTZ many a times. So I know Jitendra Sharma ji pretty well. So I missed meeting you. I'll definitely come and catch up. So likewise, we have to come together and give all the startups an opportunity. Like there are more than 1,800 and plus startups registered in DPIT, and the not registered startups are also there. We are directly working. We got some 1,200 plus startups from AP together. Wherever we are there. Recently, we were there in the Bangalore Tech Summit. People were surprised that we had put a combined pavilion with other sister departments from IT department. We had taken more than 15 plus startups there. We showcased. And the Deputy CM Shivakumar ji had come to the pavilion. He was asking, please convey our regards to the CM Garu, Jagan Mohan Reddy Garu. So it was, we had taken one of the biggest delegation to Bangalore. So wherever it's happening, if we can give a common front, as you said, Raviji, if we can, all the incubators can come together, we can definitely bring back the, the light and focus on AP. That is what is required, I believe. And we are also working on those policies, as you said, the startup policy and also the preferential market access one that we are writing, and it is in process, which will give a fillip to startups. And our focus area is mainly bringing, as APIs is from the government, we're trying to do that B2G, B2G engagement. You know that FinTech, one of your best startup is working with APCFMS, which is a central fund management system. And again, we are doing a cybersecurity challenge with the support of VIT and Amitji. And again, they'll be working, winners will be working with the police department. Already logistics challenge with the support of NASCOM, they're working with APSRTC. On health tech, also a couple of startups are working with the government health department. So this is where we want to fill that gap as well. With all your support, thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Anil. I think 4 points. One is the last one, what you're talking about, collaboration, bringing a lot of partners together. Two is then the integrated approach of all the involving different government entities or the government systems, and then putting up a single phase, and then the best practices. Excellent, bringing in Rajasthan, Kerala, and IIT Madras Research Park. This thing saying that, okay, we are open to learn and then from others and implement things. And then, of course, the infrastructure. I think, Madhvi, you put up your hand. So would you like to contribute and add to this? Because you've been in the US.
Actually, I lost my train of thought. If I remember, that's why.
No, but basically, you've been in the US, you've been with Seattle, right?
Yeah.
And you've seen how these academic institutions work very closely, the government, the academic institutions, and private partners and the collaborators around, how they work very closely in developing an ecosystem together. So any thoughts on that?
Yeah, so I wanted to actually say, I think having lived in the US for, a long time, and seeing the US Indian startup ecosystem, right? Like the incubation centers, both by government, by universities, and also private. There's a lot of incubators and accelerators that are there everywhere in big cities. What I feel is, as an entrepreneur, we can have all of these government programs and the university programs and all of that, but until the actual entrepreneur or the startup company pushes your way forward in terms of finding the idea, having a vision, executing it, bootstrapping it. And I'm a big advocate of bootstrapping, and then raising that seed fund, having the correct board of directors or board of advisors in place. I think these are all a lot more, those are all the key to success. I think it's amazing to see the government coming together and putting so many programs, and the universities jumping into the ecosystem, and trying to do this. And I think in the US, let's talk about, I'm a Carnegie Mellon alumni, Carnegie Mellon University based out of Pittsburgh, and you see Stanford, CMU and Stanford rate almost at the same level in terms of computer science program, right? But the ecosystem around Stanford University in Bay Area is like leaps above what is there around Carnegie Mellon. I think what made that difference is Stanford's incubation program. This is I'm talking in the 70s, right? And the private venture capital that came into play there, or private incubators that came into play around the Stanford University. So I think what is key is for universities and the government institutions to work together to push entrepreneurs forward and not just incubate, but also find the right funding, right set of advisors, board of advisors, or what have you, to help them sort of progress forward. In the end, you have to have successful companies to create successful stories and create that successful ecosystem. Having these programs is one thing, but actually producing the results is another. I hope I sort of earned.
Thank you, Madhavi. Okay, I'll move on to Samir. Yes, your experience, basically, I know one is building a startup and then ensuring sustainability, there is sustained growth, sustained funding, sustained profitability for your investors. All this is a challenge. And how do you think collaborations and things like the event that's happening today or the initiative like this Leap Ahead and all stuff, how do you think this would really help? Because you're one of those beneficiaries of these.
Sir, our startup started with government support from first money coming from Kerala Startup Mission and Department of Biotechnology. And our first work order with National Health Mission via Maharashtra State Innovation Society. On top of this, the first proper fundraise that we are doing also came through STPI, who are the lead investors. So not just as a customer, but also as an investor, government should participate. I believe that Smart India Hackathon was a fantastic initiative in this direction, trying to bring problem statements from every department. And every department is directly delivering to the public. So the public problems, if they are solved, and they are solved by the kids in the country, how cool that will be. And not just the government. And Kerala Startup Mission has done a crazy job. They have built very good policies, bringing a lot of transparency in the system, but also ensuring that the startups, every government has a cap with which they can buy products from startups, and they can so up to 20 lakh rupees you can buy without a tender process. And then if you are going up to 1 crore, then only startups can participate in that tender process. So these kind of very well thought, very well articulated initiatives and policies, and which are also taking care of the interest of the government, that no corruption happens and all those kind of things that are that are hindering such kind of policies from coming into picture. That thought also, that foresight has also been implemented in these policies. And the benefit is that many of my friends in Kerala have seen that, that at the times when they are not having any revenue and they are going through a struggle phase, the government comes in and gives them a work order, and then they give 30% payment upfront, and then they have got some cash going in, and if they survive, these are good guys who are really committed to solving a social problem. And how else would a social problem will be solved if not the government support? So and then creating funds of funds and all these things, where government comes into participation in equity funding, where the valuations are given well, such that the startup doesn't dilute too much and lose control, and over time it's uninvestable because it's lost all the equity. So all those kind of things, when government participates as a customer as well as government participates directly as an investor, when these kind of things start happening, I personally believe that, maybe a little too much to say, but I believe that every department should set aside a fund to fund startups solving their own problem, not other problems, but their own problems. And a fund that is set aside to buy startups, solve their products by purchasing from startups, which gives them a little bit of extra runway. The government can be slow, but we can always work towards being as fast. But I understand the infrastructure and all the processes and everything, so it will be slow. But whenever I don't have a client to deal to serve, there is always a client which I can be a little more lenient with, but then I also have some space to deliver. So actually the slow mechanism comes in handy, because the other customers would run behind me, and if I don't deliver, they'll just go away. But the government can be a little more patient. So these kind of things, I personally believe, has got really good, incubations and all those things are there. Most incubation centers, I used to work for an incubation center in Bihar under Niti. For 1 year I worked there. A lot of challenges came in terms of policies. I wanted to help the startups. And in terms of mentoring, sir, I think that a lot of government's role in mentoring process is to facilitate that. There's a lot more to be done in that direction itself than to mentoring directly. Apart from the professional services, in terms of industry, like context-based mentoring, where industry-specific conversation is happening, which is a very closed conversation. In those times, I think government should nominate only mentors who have done startups before, or have been like equity holders directly by sweat, not just in terms of being an investor or just being as an advisor, but being having done and being in those shoes before, because a lot of overlap is missing out, which is very, very necessary for right mentoring to happen. So while we spend a lot of money in mentoring, maybe a mentor suggestion could be counterproductive. So those things have to be taken care of, because that should come from a similar place where the startup is coming from. So these are the things that I feel that if the government could do, not just that the government will be a lot benefited, not just in terms of solving the problems that the end public has, but also solving gaining equity and building capital that can fund further startups. Like, so this is a revenue generation stream, and the government should be just as prudent. Like STPI, what they have done is crazy. Like I have never met an investor which is as fast as STPI and the contact group, that whole process that was there. So like they were following up with us than us following with investors, which is the case in private side. So what happens? The government gives an offer to a startup, and the startup starts following up, and the government department, like this happened with Meti Startup Hub. We continuously followed for 1 year. We had a commitment of co-investment of 40 lakh rupees, but we never got it. So this kind of things happen, but then the moment the government brings in a private player, like what STPI did, this model should be followed by every department in terms of investment. He bring in a private player who's faster than this and ensure that the interest of the government and the returns of investment are met. Then actually the fund grows bigger, the chances of success, more social startups will be funded, more resilient founders will be funded. The rates of, I personally believe that the STPI fund, that all the startups that are there, just because there is a social angle to it, there is a reason why they are doing it. Not just it's that money, the resilience comes, and I get to live another day to continue what we are trying to do, because there is a reason why we are doing so. So these kind of things, if the government just does more and every department follows suit, what has already been done, I think a lot of things would improve. And at the end, everybody will be happy. The startups will be happy, the public will be happy, the government will be happy in multiple ways, and a great ecosystem could be created. I mean, this is my understanding, working on both sides of the table. So over to you, sir. That's all.
Really tough from them. Let's not live another day, but live years together, because you're all solving something which is socially responsible stuff. So that's I'm wishing the very best, Samir. We move on to the academia now. Alok ji, I think now academic institutions is what the government is really looking up for to be in the forefront of development in the incubation form of incubation or acceleration. I think even Anil ji was mentioning of IIT Research Park, IIT Madras Research Park, and you've seen the IITs really take a forefront of this. How the collaboration, because the sustainability of these ecosystems that you're building at an academic institution level, because you know it all, you've been there and you've seen it. In fact, if you're talking about good academic ecosystems, I myself have two startups where my centers of excellence, though I'm in Vizag, I have them in Vijayawada with AP and other stuff. So I can see that there is a lot of things, promising stuff that's coming up, especially private institutions coming and then joining this bandwagon of incubators and accelerators and doing a great stuff. So how do you think this collaboration model can work for a mutually beneficial and in the long term? Because I know one day you will land up with not having funding, maybe. So the fund that might come in might stop, and then you have to be self-sustainable in other modes. So what sort of collaboration models do you think will work?
Very nice one. Actually, there are many engagement models which one incubation center which is coming from academic post needs to do. The first one is government, as Anilji was saying, what government is actually doing. To be very precise, if we go a decade back, I think angels were playing a key role in giving the kickstart for the startups. But right now we see government is taking care of all the work what angels are doing in another way. They are providing that seed, they are providing that kickstart for the startups to actually go and without diluting the major stake. Hence, any academic incubator which is coming, I would really suggest to actually collaborate with all the native government bodies or agencies in one or the other way. Not only just for the funding, but you see, as Samir was saying, mentorship really plays a key role.
we can find n number of business mentors now. But what about the technology, what the startup is bringing? Finding that right technology-backed mentor is becoming a real issue and a key. Though we find a lot of mentors on the MARG, though we find a lot of mentors on AIM and all, but how do you map it? It is not in an academic incubation center's capacity to really find that right mentor and attach to a startup, And how does mentorship is taken forward? How do you take it to the next level? What is the mutual understanding between the mentor and startup is really not clear yet to any kind of mentors who's onboarded in academic incubators, what I have found. Third, recently during this Startup 20 Summit, we were discussing that why is that incubator is competing? There need not be, the incubator should not compete, rather they should be partners. Like if there is a startup at Visakhapatnam, why do you want them to virtually incubate here at Vijayawada? You don't need to. When there are same facilities available there, better facilities in their reach, you don't need to actually, you should say that, see, there is already incubation center there, and you can really go there and develop. The main motive of setting up academic incubation center is to support the startup ecosystem. And we being enablers, that should be our primary motive to do it. And that was actually said that there should be some nodal incubation centers set up in every state so that they can, pivot all these startups who are unable to find in tier 3 and tier 2 cities to get into this incubation ecosystem. That was one thing which we drafted last time, the policy communication, which was given at Startup 20 Summit. And in the similar lines, a lot of other initiatives together, when 3 or 4 incubation centers come together, it can be leaving a greater impact. For example, when we all are together, our all insights become very important and imperative, which we actually understand from various tier cities. When we combine, we get to understand what are the problems actually being faced by the startup. So when we share these kind of roundtables, when we share these conclaves happening frequently, we get to understand what is exactly which is missing in the policy. If you see, every academic incubation center is having a different policy set. It's absolutely different, to be very precise. There is no uniformity in policies which is being framed for incubation center. However, the schemes are there. So if we can reform it and bring everything on a normal, so that would be the best way of doing it. And definitely, the end product is startup getting the major benefits out of it.
Make a very critical thing. I think while there is that your survival and this thing happens, but yeah, just like the example you're talking about, why not what you said, you could be co-incubated into incubation centers, taking advantage of mentorship in one place, taking advantage of infrastructure in another place. Yes, I think that's very critical. I think rather than looking at competing entities, looking at how to we collaborate and make it both the system stronger, the synergies. Great, thanks. I think the same question to Amit ji, because you've been in the corporate side, you've been an R&D person, you've been an innovator, you're now running the incubation centers, you also teach entrepreneurship. Again, your thoughts on how these collaboration models should work.
Sure. Thank you, Raviji. I'll just bring out some points, I think some initiatives that can be taken up, okay? What Alok mentioned is very true, that we should be having some model incubators throughout the state. Like if you remember the ISBA event that we attended, right? So there, Maharashtra Innovation Society has created such, or taken up such initiatives where they've identified 15 incubators throughout the state, and they've given them a funding of around, I think, if I'm correct, around 1.5 CR, again in segregated mode. So I think something like that would really incentivize or create the right facility that is required. I know lots been done, but I think what Alok was talking about can be certainly implemented. Other thing, what I certainly feel is when we are talking about sustainability, right? One should clearly understand that we are talking about value chain creation. Okay, so until that part is not clearly understood, it will be always a struggle that will always happen, and it should be among all stakeholders. whether it's what we are talking about, the government, the industry, the academia, incubator, and even for the society from which we are building the solution, right? Again, early in the discussion, it was like one key thing, again, all incubators should, and I'm talking about incubators right now, that whether they should be sector agnostic or they should be sticking to a particular domain, that is to be clearly defined there. But right now, all incubators are, I think, they are open, I think, but what we are primarily focusing on is on deep tech solutions. We have created the facilities of Center of Excellences in cybersecurity, AI. We are also working on AR, VR platforms. We are also working on blockchain. So these centers we have created, and accordingly we have identified, because mentoring was another issue, right? At least the technology development side, we are able to help our incubatees through our faculties who have expertise in that direction, right? Another key thing that can be also looked at is when we talk about CSR funds, right? Again, I think earlier there was a discussion in the couple of other panels that I had attended, like, should there be some reservation or some percentage reserved within the CSR to incubators from industry, right? So that is one thing that can be considered. Another thing would be having open innovation, right? Adopting open innovation, where I think earlier we had some discussion on that, where industry or academia or an incubators can be part of the innovation that are happening in the industry. And that same goes for government departments also. Maybe in that we can more explore on the public-private partnership, where, as earlier it was mentioned, that there are a lot of statements that are coming out which are taken up into Smart India Hackathon. Maybe something like this can be worked out even at state level, right? Where we can have an effective engagement, right? And provide a better solution to our state agencies. Some of the other best practices that we are implementing in our institute is where we are making sure that we are not only orienting our students in the right direction with regard to giving the initial courses on entrepreneurship and design thinking. We are collaborating with Wadhwani Foundation for that. But we are also having some events conducted internally where we are stressing upon students to identify the problem rather than directly jumping into ideas. So that is where we are mentoring them and taking them forward. And through that problem identification, we are asking them to develop a POC, prototype, and then MVP. So all these are in pipeline. And another key aspect that an institute should look at is research commercialization. And we are making an effective initiations in that direction, where we are incentivizing the participation of faculties in that. And in fact, we have a good pool of patents with us. So far, we have got around 400 plus patents that are being published, and we are making an earnest efforts towards commercializing these patents. So these are, I think, some of the initiatives that can be taken up, not only at the academia level, but also in general, the stakeholders who are there in the ecosystem.
Now, Dr. Gayatri, so you, post-retirement, being a doctor, came into medtech, and you clearly said, okay, not knowing much about technology, but you know your subject pretty well. And you've been able to come into an MVP stage, you've got your product ready, now you're ready for a market launch and other stuff. So how did you, we would like to know your story, how you went through this, what sort of help and support you got till date. What more do you need? What sort of a system that you would need in place that would make you successful? What do you think is all those things that would need to come in together for you, whether it's funding, whether it's market access, whether it's the ability for you to get the technical support, mentoring, what are all those things that you need, and what do you expect from different parties to make you successful?
I think my story will become like very interesting, sir, and it may be encouraging to others also, because I very rarely, I never saw any doctor, I mean, from our profession has come out and do these such type of things. I never, 50 years back, I joined my college, almost 50 years back. I never heard about it. So it's like a a very new thing. And I thought that when I got that idea in my mind, Eureka, like I shouted, because everybody will call me, they will ask my advice and all those things. I thought like that, but nobody called me. And I tried through the internet numbers for the Philips and Bajaj, all those things, because many medical devices, big medical devices used to come from those companies. Nobody answered. So one fine morning, somebody called me from AMTAZ, because they have seen my my journal published in the patent office, because I got the patent also for that. And I was working for that women in the labor room. I was very much empathized by the women problems in the labor room. I wanted to address that problems. So how to do that? Anybody knows that we will do the examination in the beginning, sir, when the woman comes after 9 months to the labor room. Will very painful internal invasive examination. And they are not the patients, that is not the pathological condition, this is a very physiological condition. 50% of the population is almost occupied by the women. 1 or 2% they don't have children, means they don't want children. But otherwise, every woman will pass through this phase one day or other day. This much of huge sector population is suffering with a lot of pain in the labor room, apart from the labor pains, because of our examination. So I wanted, why should I touch women's private parts, even if I am a lady doctor also? All these yugas, all those years, 100,000 years, the same thing is happening. Nobody addressed this huge sector of the population. So I wanted to know the, why I am doing that examination is to know the progress of the labor. So without touching women, can we do that? That idea gave me this. So during that time, I tried to contact one engineer, but I don't know who is working for this and all those things. But by God's grace, I get a very good engineer. I teach him 3 months about my programs. I mean, obstetric problem. 3 months I took to explain about this. And so almost 10, 12 engineers working under him, they all came to know about this. Then we started the work. 3 months, they think about how to do and all those things. And another 3 months, what are the components we have to use? Like that, we traveled, sir. We traveled and traveled. And I did almost 200 people data I took. It is very difficult to take the real-time data on a laboring woman. Continuously, they are moving this side and that side. My device is, without touching the private parts of the women, the changes in the labor during that process, that is intrapartum process, that will be given by my device. This is the first time in the world itself. Even no America, no nothing, sir. Nowhere. This is a cervical dilatation. That is my own brainchild idea. And added to that, some other points also we are adding. But till now, the basic thing is over, sir, almost. It is waiting for the lab tests. And for that, I don't know whom to go, whom to do so many things. So
Are you stuck
I went
somewhere?
to
Are you stuck somewhere? Are you looking for some help, and what sort of help?
few months have become wasted, sir, because of course, Corona, and because of the components which we are looking for. That was completely closed. That again we started from the getting the components right from the scratch. We started this research and development, sir. And I came to know during my travel AI, ML, and algorithm. These are the 3 things I learned from my engineers, sir. I saw how they are preparing everything, sir. Because without knowing blindly, I don't want to do anything. I have to know what is going on there. Everything, every step I went and I have gone through that. And today, after getting into that, I got so many ideas, so many biomedical devices. I am there enough to do now. Because how to get the ideas, how to do the such things. When I went to one engineering college only for women, they were asking, how did you get this idea? When you wanted to do for biomedical device, you should know about the people's problem. You observe the people walking on the road or in the hospital or in your house from what they are suffering. Whether can we diagnose, pre-diagnose, before establishing the diseases. Can you diagnose? Like that, if you see about the problems, you get an idea, you get the solution also. Like cardiac problems, sir. I asked one of my colleagues, can you recognize the cardiac problem, that means heart attack like that, in advance? He said only after the establishment, only half an hour we can see. But now people are working for that. Even 1 week before also we are going to detect the heart attacks. Like that, if they have the problem, idea about the problem and the pain of the person, they will get the idea and they'll get the research and everything. That's the first point I have given to the students in that college, sir, that one. And one more thing, as all the experts now they said, the infrastructure and using the all facilities in the incubators and mentors and funding and connectivity. But nowhere I get all these things, sir. Because only one medical device was coming out of that incubator. They should give respect, or they should give some extra interest about that. Because because I am also not small. Don't think it's a person, sir. I'm telling you, I am also a very senior person. I did 30 years of experience. So many years, after so many years, one biomedical device is coming out. Whether she's a background is medical, whether she requires anything, can you give the mentor or can you support her? Whether we can see that the idea is good or not, whether it's a sustainability is there for that or not, feasibility is there or not. Nobody touched me, sir. Just I became incubating in 2, 3, 4 centers, sir. In Vizag, even in Hyderabad also. At last, VHub, I'm dare enough to tell about that. In the VHub, I felt that is for women. They have given me many chances to visualize, to talk about my product into the market or in the public. They have given me. Nobody has given. But STPI is the first thing, sir. I got life in that. Because 50 persons, they have come with their applications and all those things. All of them are software apps. Only one is mine. It was mine only, life sciences. They have selected me. Very blindly they have selected because I have only idea in my mind. Nothing was there in me. But that encouragement made me to prepare my prototype. Till that 25 lakhs they have given me, I prepared my prototype till 25. I started with my 25 lakhs from my pension, sir, because of the passion about that. I had to do something for the women. So many 100, 200 years you can't count the years back, sir. From that time onwards, we are doing the same old methods of the examination, old methods of the deliveries, and nobody is bothering about the female sector. So I started from my pension 25 lakhs and STPI supported me with the 25 lakhs. Till the prototype, my money I spent. After that software, I gave this STPI money. So I always grateful to the STPI, sir, because nothing was there in my hand, but they have shown, faith in me. And they have given me money, and that's why governments should come forward also for this. No need to give each and everybody. You can scrutiny the things, whether this is a correct idea, they are going in a correct way, is it going to the market, is it going to sustainability, and all those things they can scrutiny that one and they can help us. I'm not asking because so many startups are there. It's very difficult. And one day I suggest one idea to the government, sir. I don't want to tell the government name also, but I suggested, if you want many biomedical devices, because the lot of the biomedical devices we are getting from other countries, we are importing, and you know how many crores we are spending on each device, and that is end result is the end users. We are paying a lot for the diagnostic centers and all those things. Why don't you, concentrate on the Make India, Made India? And why don't you support us? Especially biomedical devices. So I asked them, if not me or somebody else, if they are doing any research on the biomedical device, please allow them to the government hospitals to use or to take the data after scrutinizing the complications of the components or anything. I don't know how to say that one. Whether it is good or anything happens to the patient, that in your purview you can examine that and you can allow them or make it a team to test it and do fast, I'm telling. If I wanted to present in front of the ethical committee, they will meet after once in 4 months or once in 5 months because the political will be there and the socialists will be there. I don't know when they will come because I am faced all these things. I know the situation, the government, sir. Lot of time waste. By that time, my idea will be gone and I will also will go off. The medical devices need is much is more, sir.
For your this thing, I know, great inspiring story. Hats off to you to be invested and then continue to do that. So I think there were people there was STPI that looked at you. There are people that now I think you thankful to the current policies and the new way of looking at startups and then the support. You've been able to get something, and I think right person to answer you. And then what are all the changes that are being brought in? Anil ji, especially AP, we do not have a tier 1 city. It's a tier 2 cities, a lot of them. And sustaining these sort of ideas, and I know hackathons, a lot of things that are being done. MedTech, again, we have AMTZ, which is a 9,000 crore ecosystem. Maybe you could add in to bring in that confidence back. And then I think one other thing, maybe you should also probably talk maybe through the incubators. I don't know what mechanisms should probably brand it out, reach out, because we are tied up with this STPI, MIT, DST, DBT. There are multiple agencies that the state government is closely working with. Probably you could throw some light and bring in back some amount of confidence back there.
One suggestion, sir. Why don't eminent persons are here, why don't we make a platform where the engineers and doctors also combinedly work for that, because doctors will never come out of their field, sir, because of their very busy schedule, and the population of India. Morning till evening also we'll be seeing the OP, and we don't know the other world. But the idea should come from the doctors.
Yes.
If you facilitate that common platform, you can make the wonders, sir.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. Anilji, please.
Yeah. In fact, ma'am, I'd just like to add to 2 or 3 things that you said, and then I'll reply to what Raviji has been proposing. In fact, we recently done a women entrepreneurship program along with Startup India, which went very huge success. And then we done in Radisson, Vizag, more than 150 women entrepreneurs exclusively came. And we closed the event because we closed the registrations because there's so much of registrations for that, and we couldn't handle more than that. In that, one woman entrepreneur from Paderu, she's not would have done more than 10th class or something. She came out with an innovative product called organic sanitary napkins. And we had done a pitching for them. And then we have a MOU with the European Economic Development Commission. And then in Spain, they picked up the idea. You can't believe today they're asking for the technology transfer from her. And then it's going across the countries because they have a mandate that they have to provide free of cost to third world countries. And that product has been picked up from them. She was very happy, and then Gaga bought it. And we are also working with VHub for the matter. And now in the same platform, we had officials from Niti Aayog, Yashodhara ji, who's heading the women entrepreneurship platform. Morning, just before this meet, I had a conversation with her, and then we are going to launch the first launch of women entrepreneurship platform in Goa last month. And now the second launch among the states will be happening in Andhra Pradesh next month. And AP Innovation Society would be willing to collaborate with them. And before that, they want to do a roundtable conference. We'll definitely invite you, ma'am, and then Madhavi, ma'am, as well. And also all the incubators. It's going to be a roundtable workshop with the officials of Niti Aayog, because Niti Aayog is supporting the WP platform, Women Entrepreneurship Platform. And we are thinking we'll do it sometime in Vizag again. And as you said, there are a lot of doctors who are into this startup thing. One of my personal example is my own friend, who was registrar AFMC Pune. I was from Science School, and he was my batchmate. And he came out without taking his pension, and he started a startup. I think Raviji also knows it. It is Crore Technologies. And today he's got up a software and built it. He learned the software and he had built it. And there are more than 200 plus hospitals onboarded by him. And now they're working with Government of India and also Government of Karnataka. And Government of Karnataka is giving them pilot. And over a period of time, probably he'll touch base with 11,000 plus government hospitals in Karnataka. He learned Netflix software by himself. and he had put in more than 50 CR into the startup. It's also bootstrapped, mainly like friends and family had done the funding. So they're going a very high time and then into that. Only a doctor can do that kind of technology because he learned it the hard way. I saw him how he was struggling doing the morning job and evening he's learning the software. Then he had built it. Otherwise, if you had left it to somebody, as hearing your story, I felt the same. Like, I mean, in fact, unless you don't have that hands-on experience, it'll be very, very tough. And as Raviji was asking, we are trying to put a lot of these policies into place and then trying to give that leverage and also support mechanism, whichever way is feasible from our side. And also taking the support of incubators, which are very much working in close association with us. Yeah, ma'am, please.
This is the Pan India, no, sir. So I came out from the Vizag and I started here because my company was registered here. After that, I went to the Vizag, and going and coming, it's a big problem. That's why I shifted here, sir. But my idea is for the whole world, sir. So anywhere I can come as an incubator.
Definitely, ma'am. We are trying to link up those things that we've been discussing, and we are trying to put those mechanisms in place. Probably, like, I mean, as I said, like the way we saw KSM, Kerala Startup Mission doing, we are trying to do the similar kind of things. We're trying to bring in other country missions, the trade commissioners, diplomats. Probably next month we're trying to do with JETRO. And with the Japanese External Trade Organization, they're willing to come and then have a look at the AP startups. We want to showcase them the best of the startups here. So as Alok was saying, like, I mean, government now is playing that kind of role. And then we are also there not as a enforcer or something. We also would like to be on the enabler side only. We'd like to support and then showcase. I keep discussing with Raviji, Amitji, because these are the people we keep working day in, day out. And then I take more inputs from them than from anybody, because I was also OSG to the Industries and IT Minister before for 2-3 good years, Gautam Reddy ji. So I learned what kind of promotions we've been doing and how we have to bring in those kind of investors into the, like, I mean, Andhra Pradesh, so that we have a vibrant ecosystem supporting the entire things that's happening. Unless if you don't have the end product takers, like, I mean, as Amitji was talking about, we have to up the value chain. If you don't do that, like, I mean, the product has to go up the market and it has to be much, much more better, because you're competing globally, not just India-wise. So that is the reason why we call, as in the opening remarks, I said it's UBI. It is not just university incubator, it is university business incubator. When you see that report, if the incubator fails to be a business incubator, like, I mean, then it cannot survive. Like, that's how Ahab is there on the top of the charts today. If you look at that, why they're on a sustainable model, because they could bring into that business acumen into it. So if you look at, like, I mean, those key parameters, the UBI had set it out, and they always talk about what the additional support mechanisms being given to the startups, to the, like, I mean, successful ones, and which has become beyond a unicorn also. Like, I mean, that's the things that they talk about. So these are the things that we would like to build in place and then set up in place. And we'll be soon coming out with a capacity building workshop for all the incubators on the KPIs as well, so that that will strengthen the ecosystem. Our role as an enabler also stands out here, because unless we don't put out those practices in place, like, I mean, today MTZ is so good. Now I heard that Nitin Gadkari ji has asked the same thing to be emulated in Nagpur. So Jitan Sharma ji was telling me that he's doing it in Nagpur. And then kudos to him, because he could do here, and then the same thing will come up somewhere. Definitely it will put up India on a better map. Even the Biocon summit that had recently happened in Hyderabad also is leaps ahead and then testament to that. So this is what we are trying to do from the government side, Ravij. I think there's a lot more to talk, but I had to restrain myself. Yeah.
Quick comments, Alokji and Amitji. I think, academic institutions, of course, are the critical feeders into this startup ecosystem. So early stage, or even after that, that's where the bug starts getting in now. And maybe 2 or 3 years of corporate, they would want to get back and become their own startup founders and other stuff. So, but largely, and talking about strategies, how do we take these largely research scholars, faculty, students, maybe more the research scholars and faculty beyond the TRL level 3s and 4s, because they're happy with the publication and then that's where they stop. Commercialization is a very rare thing in academic institutions, if not for the tier 1 institutions. So how do you think we could overcome that? quickly, then I probably the same question I would pose it to Madhvi coming from Carnegie Mellon. So how they would do it in the US. Yes.
So Alok, you go first. Yeah.
Yeah, please. Firstly, congratulations, Dr. N. Gayatri, for taking a stand of your product and taking it such further. And
Amazing.
that's fantastic because we do understand what are the various bottlenecks, despite of being into the incubation ecosystem too. And just adding upon it, this is the second story which I'm hearing in this week in the similar fashion, and we also thought that we have to really jive up in this healthcare domain, and we started reaching out to the hospital, saying that when we are running specific cohorts at academic institutions and other, why can't we collaborate with the hospitals and actually do some specific challenges? We can go and call out for challenges in the hospital, saying that you can be our partner agent, and we will try to do certainly some seed fund, not more, but at least that ignition, that spark will come in, which they will try to understand what there is a scope where they can come and learn and do, right? So really great to hear to you. Coming to Ravi Garu, there is definitely a lot of scope in academic institutions, but we are living in a world of still stereotype education, to be very precise. And changing that culture is becoming very difficult. The reason saying upfront, there are a lot of accreditations, there are a lot of certifications, there are sort of milestones which an academic organizations requires them to fulfill at the first time. Being an academic incubator is a hell of a difficult job, to be very precise, because you precisely want every research project to be unique in its own way, every capstone project to be unique in its own way, but it is just becoming a piece of paper just for the purpose of records. One way of doing it is again putting some more parameters, making it more redundant and making it complicated for the academic system to at least create some offshore pipeline. But recently we found it really very difficult because it would keep them even under more pressure. You speak about scholars, you speak about any other people. What we did recently, we started doing this innovator fellowship. Apart from for the research scholars who are already a part of the university, we started giving them fellowship, saying that you can be an innovator fellowship too. If your product is really falling in our specific categories, in our specific thrust areas, like Amiji said, they are following some specific thrust area in deep tech. We identified few thrust areas. We wanted few scholars to come and take part in social innovation. We want someone into biotechnology. So we gave two opportunities, and we reached out to the Dean of Research and Development, and we said that we want you to fill these gaps, from the host institution itself, giving them an opportunity to take more leverage, and also saying that their research is now becoming real. It's coming into their life form. Not just just going away into the journals or just patenting for the sake of getting that credit system, but actually being prudent and this will provide them a scope to understand the startup ecosystem, also to leverage better to actually scale up. So that is one way which we started doing. On the other hand, as you know, a lot of hackathons happen, a lot of design sprints happen, but how many of them are actually converting? TRL3 is a very basic benchmark which every academic institution is coming, but reaching to that TRL9 has become a huge challenge. Now, when a university is even bigger, like VIT, SRM, all these universities having a huge payload of audience, I mean, a lot of students are there. It wouldn't be even right to say that, we will give you all kind of fabrication facilities, whoever is coming, because very limited fabrication facilities are provided for startups to actually work on. And as Amitji was saying, a lot of courses came into place, call it design thinking, call it anything. What I proposed here is, we said that design thinking is a very basic, course right now, which will again, perish over a period of time. What you need to understand is, how do you transfer native skills? as Dr. Gayatri said, she wanted to learn AI/ML too, because she don't want to, stay off the book and say that what is happening and not. So as per today's date, irrespective of the course and curriculum, what they're learning, whatever product the startup is coming across, rather than depending on any kind of, third party supports, we are trying to provide those set of skills in the curriculum and all. Call it product design studio, call it engineering design process, trying to make it a part and parcel of the curriculum entirely.
I think I have to cut you short. Sorry, Alok, because we're running short of time. Quickly, 1 minute.
I know. Thank you.
Yeah.
Amit ji and
Sure. Thank you, Raviji. First of all, hats off to Gayatri ji for doing a tremendous job, and also to other key stakeholders who are here. Anil ji, he has been a tremendous support to us, and obviously Ravi Garu also. So just 2 key points about TRL levels, right? So 2 other initiatives that we have means not only entrepreneurship design thinking. As I told, these are more of an orientation kind of courses that we are running. But 2 other initiatives that we have at our institute is one is engineering clinics, where students are given the freedom to identify a unique, innovative problem, right? And then build a solution around that. That's where they take it from idea to POC level. So that's the first level of implementation they do. And this is a mandatory credit course, which every engineering student has to go through. And then what we do there is we conduct this competition and we identify every semester at least 5 to 10 good ideas which can be taken forward. And further, we support that with another initiative called as We Launch, where we give them some additional funding to develop and take up that TRL level from whatever 3 there are in case, then it will be going at least till 6, 7. So that is kind of a program that we are running. And in association with that, there are many other initiatives that we are also making sure that this aspect is being taken care of. Thank you, Ravi.
Thank you. I know I was part of the launch. Madhuri, because CMU and experience there.
So I think, one of the key things is universities have to work with the startup ecosystem. I think that's already happening. But I think in the Indian universities, we should have a lot more interdisciplinary courses. I think that should come together with a lot of hands-on practical experience for the students to, to work on their ideas. The kids that graduate now come up with so many ideas, so many, we need to take away the old, like Mr. Govil said, I think we need to take away the old school of thinking in terms of marks or specific courses. And, it should be a lot more fluid with interdisciplinary work, because like what Dr. Gayatri is doing, there's a lot of interdisciplinary work that needs to happen. And the other biggest thing is, I feel like we should retain a lot more kids in India. With a lot of I think our universities should try and partner with whether it's American or other Western universities, and have a lot more students stay back in India to work with them. So the innovation increases. We do still have a lot of brain drain, including our kids. They all want to study abroad. That glamorization has to, it's a cultural thing, but that has to reduce. That has to reduce, and it has to become a lot more fluid, interdisciplinary, vibrant system for things to succeed. I think that's key in my mind. So
one last suggestion, sir. One medical engineering subject should be there for the medical students also, sir. That is because at least minimum they should know doctors also, so that if they have any idea, there is something we can do, that idea they will develop that after going through this subject. One chapter, 10 pages or 5 pages chapter. I suggested even in Delhi also, sir. So we'll get many medical devices from our own country. That's it.
Ravi, we can't hear you.
Is it?
Yeah,
Hello.
no.
Yeah. Okay. So yes, thank you. This thing. I think the closing remarks. I think the youngest promising Samir will give you this thing honored. You hold the flag ahead in the future of India. So we'll give you the closing. So your thoughts.
Sir, like
You listen to everything. Maybe you started with something where the TAM songs don't need really big, and that's where you started and you're making it. So go ahead. India is in your hands.
Sir, we believe that there is a lot of energy and lot of patriotism, not just in terms of the entirety thinking about the country and the idea of India, but also about the person and the problems we see around us. Like there's a lot of empathy in every youngster these days. I'm meeting a lot of students in college, and they have like I'm just surprised why they are looking at these social problems. Like, and India has a lot of social problems. So like it is very different. And like my friends in Europe will say, I don't have a problem to solve. But here they come and they see a lot of problems, they get excited. Indians are very much patriotic and we want to solve our problems. And we have that pride in us. So I think we should just, the government just needs to facilitate, fund and speed up. These are the 3-4 things that if we just do, the infrastructure is there, the policies are coming in very fast. Just need to speed up a little bit because we have to get ahead of China. And there's a lot of patriotism that can be utilized by the government. Just need to, get our hands dirty and get going. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
the
patriotism is there and we just need to utilize it. That's my baseline thought.
Oh, great. Thanks to STPI because NGIS, I know I was part of this, Chunoti, and then also now Leap Ahead. Great stuff.
Raviji, just
put up
one.
your hand, probably.
Yeah. Just one thing to add, you said closing remarks, so I forgot to add is that there's a lot of things happening in the government which a lot of people are also not aware, either it be public and also the startups as well. At many forums, I keep telling this because the structure your startups on the development side as well. AP government is doing quite a lot on the port side, logistics side. We are building 5 new ports, which in each itself is 5,000 plus year, and also 9 fishing harbors are coming up because we are the second largest coastline in the country next to Gujarat. And again, there's petrochemical corridor which is coming up with 75,000 CR in the Krishna Godavari Delta Basin. So that again opens a lot of opportunity for startups to look at niche areas. And third is we are also going to be one of the first states to hit off the renewable energy mark because 50,000 CR is being earmarked for solar parks and other things. The government is building quite a lot of them. So startups, instead of cloning, you see EdTech, they keep on going on EdTech. MedTech, they keep on going on MedTech. Instead of that, there are niche areas, the niche sectors. And Vizag being a defense hub, we are IDEX partner. And again, there's quite a lot of startups which can work on it. And the grants are huge. And recently I was there in DIFC, like Dubai International Financial Center meet as well in Delhi. There again, the focus is coming on defense startups. So I think these are the niche sectors that you have to think and then work on because there's too many participants. I think this is a right opportunity for them to look at alternative sectors as well. Thank you.
Okay. Oh, thank you. Thanks to all of you. I know we are not in a physical mode, so we can give your mementos in person. But thanks for your time. I think it's been a wonderful this thing. Sorry, Upasana, we crossed by about 7-8 minutes, but it was interesting. I hope I can see some comments from the participants saying that it was helpful. I know there were some questions. We would probably request somebody to put in contacts there so that they can reach out individually and then talk to people. Thank you. Thanks, everybody. I know it's lunchtime, but over to you, Upasana.
Thank you so much, Ravi. And thank you, panelists. I think it was such a wealth of knowledge and so much depth over here that it was bound to sort of go beyond that allocated time. And I really wish we were in a physical format that we could have actually shared lunch together. It would have been wonderful for us as well as the participants who have joined us over this Zoom, which has been enabled due to whatever issues that have come up. Thank you, folks, for joining us. I just want to remind all the speakers here, some of you are probably the part of the jury, which is going to happen at 3 o'clock. We request you to maybe log out and join at about 2:45 when we will be having the startup pitches. A lot of startups are eagerly awaiting. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for sharing your thoughts.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for all the speakers. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarji.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Thank you, audience, for joining us. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Recording stopped.